As they ended the Kansas City Chiefs' quest for a three-peat, winning their second Super Bowl in franchise history, 40-22, capping Super Bowl LIX. The Spurs get back to action tonight in Washington, taking on the Wizards, a 6 p.m. tip. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Everybody, you didn't like that drama build?
I have to adjust my headset in preparation for this. I have to turn everything way down.
Rob's like,
get on with it. Because
all right.
I'm in darkness. I'm in total radio silence until I hear.
Yes. Good morning. How we doing, everybody?
Oh my God.
Tired.
Oh, that's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm AJ. He is Rob Thompson. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Vic Brown. How we doing, baby?
Doing good.
Vic ate a dozen eggs last night. A dozen. He's very.
He's a rich man.
He's
seven.
Very wealthy.
You know the old picture of the Greeks eating grapes. Now the wealthiest just plop an egg in their mouth.
Oh yes,
that was $2 right there.
Yeah,
nope, that's another $2.
Look how wasteful I am with these eggs.
I'll take a bite and don't like it.
It's like sitting back a bottle of wine. He bites into the egg, Vic does.
Oh, yeah.
And then he swirls it around. He swishes it in his mouth.
Nope.
He spits it back into the shell and says, send this back, please. Bring me a different vintage.
Yeah. I'd prefer a Rhode Island red, please.
Yeah, or a Leghorn.
I need a Leghorn, please.
There you go.
This Delaware blue will not do.
No, don't feed me this swill.
Hey, but they were good. They were really good.
They better have been.
Oh yeah.
Where did you watch the Super Bowl, Vic?
I watched it at our house for a little bit, then went to my wife's sister's house.
Okay.
Where she had the deviled eggs. And
what's the travel time between your two destinations?
About 5 minutes.
Okay, so did you go at halftime?
Mm-hmm.
So you missed Kendrick Lamar?
The beginning. I had it on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, I was watching it. Yeah.
Were you big into the Kendrick Lamar?
A little bit. I was just cool to see him perform.
My kids were upset.
Yeah, nobody at Rob's house seemed to like the Kendrick Lamar show.
The Lamar show.
I didn't really care.
I couldn't tell.
I was just like, it sounds like.
I was eating, so it was just in the background for me when I got there.
Well, I was told it was all the new stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted him to play the hits.
Play the hits, man.
With his new album, yeah.
Yeah, play the hits is what the kids were saying. Play the hits. But you know, he's got new stuff that he's trying to push, man.
Hey, I understand that wasn't for me. So I don't pass judgment. I can tell you I was bored. I mean, I wanted something to explode, or somebody to swing in, or something,
or a booby to fall out,
something like that.
I love it when that happens. It's been too long since we had that.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for Ingrid to pop out of nowhere,
or something like that, or maybe he just something like this, or something like he'd really defame Drake, really get on him.
I think he did do that part.
Well, I mean, some kind of video. I needed something to get me out of my seat.
Yeah, another pop, right?
Yeah, maybe a nipple would have been it.
Yeah. I mean, nipples always make everything a little better.
A little better. They spice up most things.
Yeah.
Depends on whose nipple.
Yeah, I mean, whoever's it is, it's like.
But there was no nipples.
Not one to be seen. Not much of a game either, quite frankly.
No nipples there either.
That was the last game of the season, and that was...
It was boring.
Womp, womp, womp.
Well, it felt like the middle fight of a trilogy. Like, oh, well, I guess we're going to do this again in a fight. You're like, well, Pat Mahomes wasn't ready. We're going to have to do this again.
Yeah.
Because this was yawn.
It did kind of feel like Apollo not taking Rocky seriously.
Kind of like this scenario. Like, well,
yeah.
I guess we'll have to have a trio somehow because, we wanted so much. We expected so much. And when in hindsight, I think we covered up the fact in the first half how bad it really was.
I mean
that was an
have been
ass
worse.
kicking. I mean, the numbers tell the truth, whether you felt it or not. It was as bad ass kicking as there's ever been in a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So when the final score, it says 40-22,
Shoot.
and you think, oh well,
40 to nothing.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was blowout city. This game was never in doubt. And you know the Eagles did exactly what I said you have to do to beat the Chiefs.
Well,
Remember, I said you have to cut their head off. You have to make
They
it
did.
where you can't let it be a game late. And the Eagles did just that, and that's something that nobody else had been able to do. So kudos to the Eagles for being able to stop the monster, stop the boogeyman that is the Kansas City Chiefs.
and we had some legacies changed. I think
you know what?
we had it was a pivot point. I mean, there's a couple of dudes in Sirianni and Hurts that have something now. They joined a club that they'll forever be a part of, whether we like it or not. Here they sit.
They did, and I think they also the narrative may have changed on Mahomes a little because I think there was a chance if Mahomes won this game for him to already be in a discussion that would have been rarefied air. And instead now this feels like the kind of game where Tom Brady fan or whoever it is going to look back and say, you know what would have never happened to Tom Brady was getting your pants pulled down in the Super Bowl.
You're right, AJ.
That's this is like Jordan would have never got swept by the Spurs in the finals.
This
is you know what I mean? That's
it's the he's not unanimous minus 3 votes in the Hall of Fame. It's he's it's that there's going to be a lingering thing that will never leave Pat Mahomes from yesterday.
And also the there's a lot of people you can point the finger at on the Chiefs for why they didn't win, but Patrick Mahomes is in the front of the line.
Yeah,
they didn't lose the game in spite of Mahomes playing great. No, Patrick Mahomes was dreadful last night. Dreadful.
You could tell.
Now, a lot of it was the offensive line was so bad he didn't really have a chance.
Happy feet from a dude like that. You're better than that. And he was never comfortable. It didn't look like they never were able to kind of click into the Chiefs mode. It always felt like they were chasing something, like one play off, 1 millisecond off all night long. And that goes back to your quarterback. And I don't want to say he wasn't ready. I just don't think that he was prepared for what came at him.
Yeah. It was just the Eagles had the perfect game plan. They put it on them early, and the Chiefs never recovered. So, again, I said the Eagles were better everywhere except for head coach, kicker, and quarterback.
And they made up for one of those deficits.
Made up for multiple of those deficits. I quite frankly, kudos to Sirianni, who had the game. He outworked Andy
what I'm
Reid.
saying is, what I felt like of those 3, Kansas City was going to have to overcome one of those 3 issues. One of them, they're going to have to overcome coaching. They have to be brilliant with the tush push or the Philly special. They're going to have to overcome the coaching. They have to win of those 3s, and they couldn't overcome any of them. I mean, they got out coached, they got out X's and O's, and out Jimmy's and Joe's. I mean, all of them. They were just the better team front to back.
And the
night.
Eagles kicker didn't blow it, so it was.
We really thought that when there was the penalty late in the game and he was a little wide to the right and it got pushed back a little bit, I thought we would have our first miss. But no, even the most erratic of all the NFL kickers missed more than anybody else, but not last night.
Held up. So there you go. Now you've got a guy in Nick Sirianni who
credit, man. Got to give it. You got to give it where it's due.
You do, and it's funny because we've talked all season long. It felt like Nick Sirianni was always kind of knocking on the door of getting fired, and now, here he is with a Super Bowl ring, and where's the banging on the table now? I don't think it's coming for a while. I think he's got at least a little grace period here.
He gets till October of next year.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they're in a position to lose a lot. I think they're going to be in pretty good shape next year. Most of the time you see teams that they're going to be minus an OC. I think the plane's going to fly back to Philly this morning, and Kellen will stay. He's got a job to take.
Now, let's also remember that Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. He was gone fast.
And it did not take long for him to be out the door.
And, the interesting part of this is, and the dynamic's different in that your stud quarterback did actually win the Super Bowl. But, there's still, does Jalen Hurts, does the Emperor, does he have any clothes on? I mean, he's a perfectly average quarterback who did everything perfectly great yesterday.
Oh, he was great yesterday.
But he's still Jalen Hurts. And, Peterson had to go back in with Wentz and realized, he ain't that. Jalen Hurts has survived because the talent around him is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts. That's
his future and Sirianni's future are so inexorably tied.
But that's also why if you have that situation where you have to pay a non-elite quarterback elite quarterback money,
you're screwed. And
the Cowboys are in that position. Yeah. You have to be so perfect drafting. And the Eagles have, quite frankly, been pretty perfect drafting.
When in draft giant defensive
that
linemen.
Seems to be the move. All right, we've got a ton to talk about today. Obviously, there was a football match. We'll get into the X's and O's of that. What happened? What went wrong for the Chiefs? What can be fixed? And we'll take a look into next year because we're now done with football. And
now it's the best part of the season.
Yeah. I feel like it should be sad songs for the rest of the day.
It was a fitting end. It was a fitting end.
I mean, was it?
Yeah.
That's the last football we're going to see for how long?
Well, we've got a myriad of
it felt like old
traveling
it
barn.
Felt like old Yeller. Like
we got these barnstorming. We got all kinds of crazy sports coming around the corner. We got Brahmas football. We got Caballeros football.
Oh, that's true. I
did
get the email that there's tryouts for the Caballeros.
So,
Vic, I think it'd be good for our show if you went out and tried out.
Really?
Which is a theme for another day. But football's not gone.
It's gone.
We got spring football.
That doesn't
we got
count.
recruiting. We got all kinds of stars to add up. We got all kinds of things.
No, I only care about
NFL. Yeah.
I'm a elitist when it comes to football.
God, the sadness of Monday morning.
I know.
What a terrible commute.
Terrible day. All right, we'll be back. Morning Huddle 94.1.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we do have a stall at 281 northbound before you get to Mulberry. Saw to the shoulder. That crash at 410 Frontage Road, eastbound Morrison, that's still there. And 35 southbound Martin Street, Cesar Chavez. Some ongoing road work, and that's got the roadway reduced to one lane. Comal County, New Braunfels, 35 southbound from Business 35 on down to 337 Rupel Road. Closed with an accident. That's our heaviest delay this early morning, New Braunfels. It's causing about a 15-minute delay. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Lowe's knows that your business is built on speed and trust. That's why the Lowe's Pro Desk is here to get you what you need the moment you need it. We'll help you plan your project, calculate your materials, and pivot when your job takes an unexpected turn. And with our Pro-only checkout and dedicated Pro parking, you have what you need to tackle your job and be back on the job in no time. Just visit us at the Pro Desk. Lowe's knows pros. We help. You save.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Claire. She loves her motorcycle, and she's learned to love the insects she encounters on her rides. She may not know the difference between a gnat and a mosquito at 55 miles per hour, but she does know one thing. It's always gross when one flies into her mouth. But she's so used to it that it's weird when it doesn't happen. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back with comprehensive and collision coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Divorce is a fight. If you don't want to get knocked out of the ring by your spouse, then you need an aggressive law firm with a stable of hard-hitting attorneys at your disposal. Contact Barton & Associates today. Visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Guys, if you ever spend time on social media, you'll often find yourself just being hit with bad news and worse comments, and you'll see how everybody's life is so picture perfect, and they've got this great job promotion, and you're wondering, man, where am I? It's hard not to get wrapped up in how everyone else is doing. Imagine how you'd feel if you just spent 45 minutes focused on how you're doing. That's what they're about at Cerebral. They make it easier than ever to access dedicated therapists and doctor-prescribed medication personalized to you. And the best part, Cerebral offers in-network care so you can focus on feeling better without worrying about the cost. If you're dealing with stress, anxiety, you want to be more present and focused, you want to sleep better, you want to have better relationships, you've got to work on yourself. Cerebral is proud to be an official sponsor of the San Antonio Spurs. Just like athletes prioritize their physical health, mental health is just as important, and Cerebral's here to help you build a strong foundation for your overall being. So take the first step today. Visit Cerebral.com to see how affordable and accessible mental health care can be with insurance. Cerebral, make time for mind time.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's business solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Make it your New Year's resolution to drink better beer. That's what I'm talking about. Who needs dry January? Let's go all in with Karbach, baby. Karbach Brewing out of Houston, but they love San Antonio, and their beer is all over the city. Their head brewer came here and said, we want San Antonio to be a priority market for us, so they have put their beer all over our fair town. From Hopadillo, their in-your-face hopped IPA, to Love Street, which is their blonde Kolsch-style beer, and it's their best seller, by the way. On top of that, the Crawford Bock, which is one of my personal favorites. There's something for everyone in Karbach's lineup. So go to the grocery stores, go to the liquor stores, they're going to have it, and you might be surprised. All the bars and restaurants that you might think not have it probably do have some Karbach behind the bar. So whenever you're out watching football, watching playoff football, ask the bartender, please make it a Karbach.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up Monday on The Blitz, all the reaction from the big game Sunday night, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're talking about the game, the commercials, the food, and our final weekend in New Orleans. The Blitz, Monday at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're locked on The Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime!
Burn, burn, burn now. Oh, yeah. Morning Huddle 94.1. Coming off a Super Bowl Sunday. That was a good thing. I didn't have great confidence in the in who was going to win this game or the total, but still made a little money on the game. Rob made some money on the squares.
Yeah, baby. I'd rather be lucky than
I
good.
missed.
You missed
most of the time.
I know. I was going.
You
like,
were in some decent shape for a while.
Yeah, you know, when I pulled that 0 and 2, I feel pretty
figured.
damn good about it. You know what I mean? I felt like that was going to fall into at least a quarter.
Yeah, my the biggest bets I had yesterday, one of them was my biggest bet was there will be more points scored in the second half than the first half.
And that followed suit. That happened.
It did. Thanks to the Chiefs doing nothing in the first half. I was like, okay, they got to do something in the second half.
I went so heavy on Saquon because I felt like the Chiefs were going to win, and I felt like if the Chiefs are going to win,
the
Eagles are going to win. Saquon's going to have a day. So I won with the team. I lost on my props. I lost on
was
my
the opposite.
mores and lesses and all those. I lost those just because they didn't live up to. But the game didn't cover up my other losses.
Yeah, I was the Hurts anytime touchdown I hit, even though I was on the Chiefs. I had Hurts anytime touchdown.
Well,
that was a winner.
But it didn't. It ruined the rest of my parlay. Did not come through.
I had Barkley under 112.5.
Yeah, I had more than that. Far more.
I had the both teams to score in the first quarter. No, that was a winner. No score in the first 6.5 minutes. That was a winner. There was some good things.
Nice.
But the Chiefs themselves did not hold up their end of the deal. But that's all right. That's good.
How far?
I bet it appropriately.
How much blame lands with the Chiefs? Because it looked like they weren't prepared. I mean, as we get further away, are we going to go, you know, it happens to the best of us, or was this team kind of a sham all year long? Like, my gosh, all this stuff about lucky than good, I think you were luckier than most.
It's easy to look at it now, and a team that, you know, again,
they did beat the Bills.
I've said all year long, like, this team is not as good as their record, not as good as their record. And then if sure enough, the one time where I'm like, okay, I guess I got to ride with them, they end up blowing it. But yeah, I think history will look back on that team a little differently than they were hoping, because it hasn't analytically, it's not been a good team all year.
No, and the prospects aren't good. It's not like, oh, that guy was hurt and couldn't play.
Right.
I mean, they had some interior line issues,
stuff,
but it was magnified by X because there was no reaction to it, no fix to it, and I don't see that the holes are the worst kind of holes to have. Those are the holes that the Kansas City Chiefs have are the holes that 6 and 7 win teams have.
Yeah,
I mean that's the problem. They're not down a stud, but the bricks of a foundation they're missing.
The Chiefs are not dissimilar to the Bills in some ways, where the roster isn't great, but if your quarterback plays well enough, it covers up a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And if the quarterback doesn't play well, oh man, it's like this girl who's at the party and she looks really, really hot, and then somebody throws her in the pool and she gets out and you realize, oh, she's just really good at doing makeup. Like, that's what happened to the Chiefs. They got thrown in the pool.
Every great quarterback's had bad days.
Sure.
I mean, Montana had bad days. Elway's had bad days. Peyton had some terrible days. Brady had some terrible days. So you're allowed to have one as a GOAT. You are. But the prospects for those teams when they had bad days was, they're going to be right back. The prospects for the Chiefs looked like, my gosh, it wasn't just Mahomes, although Mahomes was pretty lousy. There were so many other problems that you think, was it just the Chiefs just overwhelmed them for a day? Or was all of this, mystique that the Chiefs carry against the rest of the AFC that you just got to beat the Chiefs and other stuff in the AFC?
Yeah. And you know what? Kudos to the Eagles, who I'll pat myself on the back a little. Early in the season, I was like, I still think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. Like, when everybody was all over the Lions, I was like, I still think the Eagles are better. And then I kind of backed off of that because there was a stretch where the Eagles just looked terrible. The first couple playoff games, they looked terrible. And then the last two games against Washington and Kansas City, it's like this was them at full power.
Jimmy's and Joe's.
Man, they've got it.
I still think after the season, I'm not sure if they were the most talented team in the NFC. They're right there. But they still have a quarterback that I will remain, even despite yesterday's performance.
You're iffy on him?
When I look at the Eagles, I go, when it comes crashing down, and it will, it'll be because their coach or their quarterback or a combination of the two.
Yeah. No, and it's I don't know that I feel differently about Sirianni or Hurts than I did, but By the way, they didn't win because, like, in spite of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was the man.
Yeah.
Like, he played that game. Like, he was that dude yesterday.
But he was the recipient of a defense that punched the entire team in the face.
Yeah.
The way that the defense sat and watched Philly's defense manhandle their offense, the Philly defense knew. I mean, the chief D, Chris Jones, knew early on, no, because we're going to get no help from our offense.
And, I mean, if the fact that they didn't blitz. They rushed with 4 all day and just dominated that Chiefs front.
So
there was just no answer.
They got out physicaled. And when you're a finesse team that relies on the greatness of one and help from the randoms, and he wasn't even close to great. He was as average to bad as any quarterback that has played. He was. I mean, he wasn't accurate. And not just under duress. When he had time, he wasn't accurate. There were guys that Kelsey saw it. I think Kelsey was mad. There were a couple balls that
Kelsey stunk.
Well, he stunk too. But the fact is, a couple of the targets were not direct. It wasn't like those were typical Mahomes throws.
Well, Mahomes didn't have typical Mahomes time to make a good throw.
There was more time than we quantify. I mean, Mahomes is normally better than that under pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, and there was some great coverage, but he wasn't accurate. The ball was not going where he intended it to go most of the game.
Well, again, you're never going to be judged. So, like, when you've got a bunch of these victories and Mahomes has had a lot of success in a short amount of time, you're never going to be judged first on your failures. But in the long haul of who's the greatest at this of all, like, this is going to be an ugly mark for Patrick Mahomes.
It's one that will forever be in the hand of the Brady lovers. Yep. Or you pick your favorite quarterback of all time, and they'll all go, well, this never happened to him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Well, unless it's Jim Kelly, because it did happen to him.
Well, you've already adopted a new one.
Yeah. Well, that one doesn't go to the Super Bowl, so it doesn't matter. All right. When we come back, we'll take a look at what the odds look like for next season, because they're already out. We're already discussing who's going to win this thing next year. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we just cleared one of our trouble spots on the south side on 410 eastbound at Morrison. That rollover accident is cleared. It was on the frontage road. On 281 northbound, just before you get to Mulberry, we've got a stall. It's off to the shoulder. And in New Braunfels, a closure due to a major accident on 35 southbound. 35 business is closed on over to 337 Rukel Road. So traffic stopped from Walnut Avenue. That's a 20-minute delay. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
George gets justice. When you've been injured, you need to get George Salinas Injury Lawyers, because you need someone who understands your pain and the impact an accident has on your life. You need someone who listens and is always there fighting for you and your future. When you get George Salinas Injury Lawyers, you get all this and more. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. And remember, you won't pay anything unless they win your case. Call George Salinas at 210-225-0909. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Pizza craving? We've got you covered at Round Table Pizza. We've been crafting pizzas with premium, high-quality ingredients for over 60 years. From our made-from-scratch dough to our savory toppings piled all the way to the edge. Find your nearest location or order delivery at roundtablepizza.com.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Made in America, highest quality. That's Connecticut Quality Water Softeners. There's a reason Dave Ramsey says a Connecticut is a wise investment for your home.
Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy.
So there's no computer to break, fewer moving parts, and it works only when you need it.
It was even voted most efficient water softener in the world by the Water Quality Association.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink, $400 off with trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country, 210-656-PURE.
Check them out at ConnecticutSA.com and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
License number 38961.
ConnecticutSA.com.
Take the guesswork out of buying and selling your home with Orchard. Hi, Jason Minix here from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Will your home sell in time? Which upgrades are worth it? Can you keep your home show ready with a busy life? Orchard has all the answers. With Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, you can buy your new home before selling your old one. It's simple. Orchard gives you an equity advance, unlocking cash to buy your new home first. That's right, you don't have to wait for your old place to sell. You can move in right away, and no more rushing out for showings or constant cleaning, because Orchard sells your old home after you've settled into your new home. Orchard even handles repairs and improvements at no out-of-pocket cost to you. Their local pros know which upgrades bring you the most money, so you sell for top dollar. Buy before you sell and skip the selling hassles with Orchard. Start your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagel, and you're listening to the home of the Dallas Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Oh!
Gotta wake up.
How many times did you play this? Back in the day.
This is Slick Vic right here, baby.
I played this so many times, I had to rebuy the record.
Oh, I'm sure, man.
Yeah.
This was a necessary part of the breakdance culture.
One of the first records I ever purchased.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
That
the first
beat-
one was Freakazoid was the first
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Freakazoid robots.
Yeah.
Report to the dance floor.
Good stuff, man.
Dude.
All right, we've got the odds for next year's Super Bowl already. And your favorites are. You've got co-favorites. Okay. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens, both plus 650 to win the Super Bowl next year. Either of those jump out at you as...
Well, I mean, Baltimore obviously should be considered. And I think Kansas City obviously is in the finalist category, but this number is ridiculous. Yeah, I know. They're obviously in the finals category, but that might be a little high.
The defending Super Bowl champion Eagles are at 7-1, along with the Detroit Lions and the Buffalo Bills.
Well, see, those three, to me, probably in my mind, should be favorites over those that are.
Okay.
Those are the three. And for me personally, it's Detroit. I think Detroit was felled by a weird scheduling quirk that they didn't get a game off for like 4 months. And finally do get a game off and couldn't light the fire again.
Yeah. Detroit losing their coordinators is...
It's not the best thing, no.
Yeah.
But it's still Jimmy's and Joe's. And I think...
does Detroit overwhelm you with Jimmy's and Joe's?
They did. Yeah, for 12 straight games.
Jared Goff is their quarterback.
I look at Philly and say the same thing. I mean, the guy's capable of doing exactly what Jalen Hurts did, and there's lots of talent on that team.
Well, that's why I think, I mean, Jalen Hurts, who knows what next year is going to look like, because the chances are good. We'll probably hear at some point today Kellen Moore is going to be announced as the head coach of the Saints, presumably. And now Jalen Hurts is going to have to start over with a different coordinator. After that group, the 49ers sit at 14-1, Bengals at 16-1. I could see value on both of those teams, both coming off huge disappointing seasons. Both have a chance to be much better than that. Green Bay and Washington, both 20-1.
Both good money there, too.
Chargers and Rams, both 30-1. The Bucks, Vikings, Texans all sit at 35-1. The Bears and Broncos at 40-1. Seahawks, Dolphins, Cowboys at 50-1. The Cardinals, Falcons, Steelers at 60-1. Patriots and Jets 75-1. You've got Panthers, Browns, Colts, Jags, Saints at 100-1. Raiders and Titans are 200-1, and all by themselves at 250-1.
Man, that's just this.
The New York Giants.
It's almost irrational hatred. My God.
Well, I mean, they're a joke.
Well, they're a joke, but there's a lot of joke franchises out there, and that number is so huge.
Yeah.
Whatever house that was, who set that line? Do we know? Because they hate the Giants, like literal hatred.
This is all from ESPN Bet.
From ESPN, I guess they're right at home. They're sitting in the backyard. But my gosh, you're gonna tell me they're that worse off than Carolina? I mean, seriously?
Yeah, 2.5 times worse than Carolina.
What? 2.5 times worse than the Panthers.
2.5 times worse than the Cleveland Browns.
You hate the Giants.
Yeah, right, and deservedly so. They're ass. But the draft can change a lot of things. We saw the draft change a lot of things for the Commanders.
So if you like those numbers, I do think that it's ridiculously low. And a couple of those bad teams have some pretty decent GMs, so we'll see if they can draft their way out of this. But there's no easy money after about 16-1. I think they got it pretty much circled.
What about the Cowboys 50-1?
That's friendly cowboy money.
Yeah,
that's just to lure in the cowboy lovers that believe there's. You're saying there's a chance. 50-1. I love it.
I'll always default to the two LA teams, particularly because now I think they've got such good coaching and quarterbacks who are good enough to make something happen.
And they're sitting at like 30, the Chargers.
They're both at 30-1.
Yeah, that's respect. There's some hidden value, but
McVay and Stafford, Harbaugh and Herbert, it's like, 30-1, okay.
And both those teams, neither one of them's drafting very high, so I don't expect a radical change. So, that might be some easy money.
Steve says Damian Woody just made a great statement about what happened in the Super Bowl last night. Big people beat little people.
Jimmy's and Joe's.
I mean, it sure felt like it was a bully game. That's what it felt like, a bully game.
And the further we get away, and the more you look at the numbers, you go, my gosh. I mean, it was just an ass whooping.
It's and sometimes, man, offensive line matters come Super Bowl time. I remember when the Bengals got there, and we were like, but can the Bengals really win because their offensive line is so bad? And they didn't. The Chiefs' offensive line has been bad, and it just took the right team to expose it. And, ever since they had to move Tooney to the outside and Caliendo, oh, God, he's so bad at left guard.
Yeah, when did he leave stand-up?
No, that's Frank Caliendo.
He blocked like Frank.
This is his brother.
He was doing an impersonation of a left tackle?
He was impersonating an offensive lineman, and didn't work out for him. But that weakness got exposed by a defensive front that was really great all season long. I'm so mad at myself. The one bet my real bet regret was not being on Saquon to be held under 70 yards. That was plus 425.
Other side of that. I was so the other side of that. Philly scored 34 straight points where the Chiefs scored. I mean, that in hindsight, it felt like that was happening, but it really didn't feel like that was happening.
I mean, he had 25 carries and did not. I think he had 2-point-something yards per carry. He just couldn't move the ball
and still had 34 points. I just didn't think it was possible. I didn't think Hurts was capable of spreading the ball the way that he did. I didn't think. Well, a lot of it was
the Chiefs.
He was working with the nose. He had a safety net. He knew the Chiefs weren't going to move the ball, so you could be a little bit more daring. I think as the game went on, and he could be a risk taker. When he turned the corner and put that 20-yard run down the sidelines. That pretty much summed up Jalen Hurts right there.
I
tucked
thought
it and ran, and that's what he should have done.
In hindsight, I didn't know it at the time, but in hindsight, the moment the game was over was that pick six.
Yeah.
When Cooper DeJean was like kind of toeing the sideline and looked like maybe he was going to step out, but instead he got in, and then you saw Mahomes' face, and it was just like, oh, yeah, you're beat, dude. You're beat.
Kansas City didn't cross midfield for their first 9 drives.
That's pathetic.
God, what an ass kicking.
Pathetic. And what's crazy about it is the over still hit. Like, you'd think
Xavier.
If you had told me Kansas City was going to put up a goose egg in the first half and the over was going to hit, I would have said, oh, that's impossible. It's impossible.
Well, that's the first time in Super Bowl history that had happened. That had never happened before. That's vaunted Kansas City offense with Pat Mahomes didn't cross midfield for 9 offensive drives.
That's wild. That's the first time in Super Bowl history that's happened to any team?
Nobody's ever done that before.
I was thinking about that Rams team, the Jared Goff Rams.
Not like that.
They couldn't, they get 3 points in that whole Super Bowl?
At least they got it. At least they got over midfield.
Well, they at least had a chance, gave themselves a chance. All right. Let's hit our last break of the hour. We've got some cool stuff to give away today.
Yeah.
We're going to give away, of course, it's a Mellow Monday, so we're going to give a $50 gift card away to the Mellow Mushroom. And in the 8 o'clock hour,
how far is heaven?
Los Lonely Boys are playing at the Aztec Theater on February 16th.
Sunday night.
Sunday. And if you'd like to go see Los Lonely Boys, we'll have tickets at the 8 o'clock hour. You can go see them at the Aztec Theater on Sunday. All right, we'll be right back. Morning Huddle 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hi, I got hurt in a wreck, but I don't know if it's really worth getting an attorney.
Don't worry, you called the right place.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7, and you don't pay unless we win. We recently secured a jury verdict for $210 million in a wrongful death case. So if you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
Attention lovebirds. Valentine's Day is almost here, and Diamonds Direct has the gifts to wow your special someone. From dazzling diamonds and trending gold to vibrant gemstones, pearls, even timepieces. With hundreds of stunning styles under $1,000 and an exquisite collection of one-of-a-kind luxury pieces. Make your moment unforgettable. The best selection, value, and service are waiting for you. Make this Valentine's unforgettable with fine jewelry for every budget. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Summer or winter, Texas weather doesn't do anything halfway, and neither should your roofer. You need a local roofer you can trust. That is Stevens Roofing. You know, Texas roofs are not designed for freezing weather. When ice and snow melt, water seeps into the little cracks, then refreezes, creating bigger cracks. That means leaks or maybe worse. Don't wait to see what damage has occurred. Call Stevens Roofing today for a free inspection. 210-785-0994. That's 210-785-0994. score for Stevens Roofing.
Guys, this is AJ. If you're feeling kind of tired or low on energy, do what I did. Check out Game Day Men's Health on Bassey Road. You'll get a personalized plan that starts with a free testosterone test. Call 210-900-3691. That's Game Day Men's Health, 210-900-3691.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Jesse says, why did they have a random Jimmy Johnson Lifetime video before the game? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it was kind of it was not just a tribute. They had a whole kind of claymation AI thing for Jimmy going all the way back to college.
I'm so disinterested in everything but the actual football. Like, I'm just not, like, I don't care about the halftime show. I don't care about commercials. Like, when there's a break in football is like,
I get the pageantry.
I'm looking at stats and seeing where my money, like where my bets are going. And
we watch the commercials. Everybody still watches them. We did.
The ones I remember,
I don't remember them.
I remember one where there was a tongue. I don't know what it was for.
No, I don't remember.
It was really creepy. But it was like, okay, well, that's a memorable thing. And then there was one where a guy had a cowboy hat that was made out of his flesh.
No, the worst one of the night. Who convinced Seal? How much money would it take for you to dress up to be portrayed as a seal with your face on it?
$1 million.
It'd take more than that.
I'll take it.
I'm cheap.
So,
I'll take it.
Granted, I hadn't thought of seal in 25 years, so maybe he didn't cost much.
You give me $500, I'll do this. I'll put on this costume.
Can you imagine? And so we have this idea, like, oh, that's original. So you want me to be a seal?
I haven't thought of seal since it was mentioned in Ricky Bobby.
You're right. It's been a minute, but it was disconcerting at best.
Yeah. Or the Tom Brady battery thing. Did you like that one?
Well, where the handsome driver, is that the one where he was like, he's not that good looking? Or is that the one?
No, this is the one where his
when he
batteries
ran out of power.
Yeah. Where he was yeah, all right.
Which sounds about right. Because, speaking of, the things that I typically don't pay attention to, I don't care about announcing unless it's bad. Tom Brady sucks at his job.
Oh, but as the game went on, he got happier and happier.
Like
by the fourth quarter, he was tap dancing up there.
It's weird that nobody likes to say it, but Tom Brady's just not good at this. And
no, everybody's saying it. It was very evident. The game was underwhelming, and then when the game is bad, it can be made up for by a good call.
Stuff.
But no, it was not. There's just a disconnect from the way he thinks and communicates than the average person does. And he sees some things that I appreciate, but it's not going to work for him. And that was his swan song. I think as the owner of part owner of the Raiders, that will be the excuse and the reason why he leaves the booth.
Yeah. Well, it sucks that I know Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are now at ESPN, so they've got a different gig, but
eventually they'll get it again. But
I don't know. It just wasn't quite what.
Well, when it's an average game, it requires a great call to be memorable, and he's just not capable of that.
Yeah, and it kind of exposed a little bit. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about Kevin Burkhardt, but that's the best guy you could get.
Well, I mean, Burkhardt's there to be not there. You know what I mean?
You can't put him there with Tom Brady.
So what you get when you do that in combination is a vanilla wafer. It's just there's nothing there but just average any kind of commentary, and it's just a famous guy saying it. When Romo was at his peak, he added something to the game that wasn't there.
And I'm pretty sure Burkhardt's normal partner is Greg Olsen.
It was, yeah.
And Greg Olsen is really good. And Greg Olsen should probably be like the A guy.
And he will be at the end when Brady leaves because of the ownership issue.
Wow.
And that'll be the excuse and the reason.
He should just leave because it ain't
Everybody can save face.
It ain't his thing.
I think he looks at it, and no one wants to be bad at something.
No.
You know, and Brady knows he's
especially
not good
a guy
at this.
who's always good at
right.
things.
He knows he's not good at this. So I think at the end of the day, the ownership, and there are some genuine questions about that. I mean, he does have some insight into teams and gets to go into locker rooms and see some things and talk to players in ways that no other owner would ever be allowed to do. So there are some legitimate questions about his position in the league. But I do think at the end of the day, everybody saw that and thought, well, you did it. You can say you've done it. Let's move on after we can get out from underneath this contract.
Yeah, it was not the best. But again,
and
had the game been good, who knows?
And that would have covered up for some things, but it made it very apparent that he was not up to the task of bringing an average game to the fans in a way that would keep us involved other than our bets, other than the lines and the numbers and all that. He's not capable of that.
I will say this was a very pro-Eagles crowd.
I saw Greeny tweeted out, he goes, I don't know what it sounds like on TV, but in the building, this is an Eagles crowd.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it was it was, I mean, at the beginning you could tell they booed Taylor. What? They booed Taylor?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I hope.
Oh, no.
She gets over that.
Hope she can shake it off.
That's a good one. I got that. Even I picked that one
up. But yeah, that was an overwhelming crowd.
It's
for
just
the Eagles.
As we sit here, and I think a lot of people went to bed last night kind of stunned. I mean, I don't think anybody's surprised that Philly won because the numbers showed it was basically a pick 'em.
Yeah.
But it was such an ass kicking, and I think Friday, the more we look in the rearview mirror, the more we're going to go, my God. You guys were terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, there was nothing you guys did well. Nothing. Xavier Henry can hold his head up high. I mean, he had a nice catch.
Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy can hold his head up high. He had the best game of any Chief.
Oh, by far.
And it was just barely above average.
Yeah.
He wasn't even as good as the top 3 receivers on the Eagles.
I think he was better than all of them, actually.
Well, I'm just talking about by numbers and all of that. I mean, he was.
Because he ended up well over 100 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns.
On one catch with 18 seconds to go. But, I mean, at least they had that. But other than that, there was no shining light. No running back showed up. No old stars showed up.
Nothing.
The old studs weren't good. The young studs couldn't fill in. Your best guys were hurt on defense. I mean, it was just a non-starter.
Were they, though?
What's that?
Were the best guys hurt, or did Chris Jones just say?
Well, Chris Jones spent more time.
Enough.
My neck, my foot, my
Enough's
leg.
Enough.
Ow!
Get me out of here, Coach. This sucks.
After the tush push, he was having an adjustment. Next thing you know, he's fixing his knee and he's limping around. So no, he was trying to find his way out.
Yeah, this sucks. Yeah, it was the. Ren says he couldn't stand Don Cheeto saluting during the anthem. The president was there, and he got a hell of a round of applause. Again, it was a pro-Trump, anti-Taylor crowd, which is probably the opposite of the last several Super Bowls, right?
Well, yeah, before it was a bunch of boos, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like so the woke crowd did not show up in New Orleans this year.
No, they couldn't afford it.
Maybe not.
We talk about Serena crip walking at halftime.
Uh-huh.
That might have been the highlight of the game.
Serena also she also tweeted out.
that.
She also tweeted out not to pay attention to these boos, Taylor. Don't you worry about it.
Don't you worry about that, young lady.
Imagine Taylor
But
Swift.
they're there.
Yeah, but also, who cares?
I know.
Taylor Swift's one of the richest people in that building.
Yeah.
She's they boo. Okay, who cares?
She can afford to get booed.
Yeah, boo me. I'd be good with that. I don't mind if you hate me. Who cares? Oh, poor Travis. He's
I know he was all depressed last night.
Oh man.
I want him to go crawl in a hole. Go away. Go away for a while. I don't want to see or hear from you. Go guard your valuables. Make sure the Venezuelans aren't stealing your crap.
Imagine having
go away.
Imagine having to do your post-game presser in that sparkly shirt.
In that sparkle shirt. I mean, just go away.
I don't want to talk to you.
I'm getting a little tired of his brother, too. This Kelsey's just need to go away.
I'm kind of worn out on Kelsey's, too.
So, good riddance to all of this. We can put a lot of this to bed for a while.
Rin says it was fake applause. I don't know. Remember where you're at.
You're in Louisiana, man.
that was we're in the right country.
Yep. So I wouldn't. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that that's the.
Did you see on the flight home the presidential order was signed to change the map? It's now the Gulf of America.
Okay. Well, listen, man. It's
It'll always be Mexico. Always.
You can't change it, Vic.
No.
And I wouldn't be too outspoken if I were you.
Yeah. Well,
to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a target. But
Exactly.
Mexico.
We'll have a different producer next week. Morning Huddle 94.1.
The guy at the door to see you.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
10-yard line. Touchdown, Vegas. What a wild finish.
Your home for the NFL.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Right now, during Mattress Firm's President's Day sale, save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, plus get a $300 instant gift. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it, and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs. No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. With on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
It's time to take your shot with the Year of You Scholarship at National University. Score up to $6,000 annually toward a bachelor's or master's degree. With 4 and 8-week courses and flexible online options, you can stay in the game while you study and get free tutoring, career counseling, and more to help you succeed. Make this your year and apply by February 28th at nu.edu. That's nu.edu. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
In Texas, your spouse can claim alimony after just 10 years of marriage. Do you know your countdown? Because I guarantee you, she does. I'm Gary Barton with Barton & Associates. If you're considering divorce, then contact Barton & Associates today at texasdivorce.com. That's texasdivorce.com.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
With basketball season in full swing, make watching the game a little bit more exciting with your chance to win money with Underdog, one of the leading sports apps, and you can play in Texas. You could win up to 1,000 times your money with Underdog, playing the pick'em game where you pick higher or lower on predicted stats. You can play with as little as $1, and if you get everything right on your pick'em entry, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Yep, turn $1 into 1,000 with your hoops knowledge. Download the Underdog app and sign up using my promo code STAR to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Still dealing with that accident on Loop 410 eastbound at Honeysuckle. 2 right lanes are blocked. Now a 20-minute delay as you slow from Fredericksburg Road. On 35 southbound Martin Street to Cesar Chavez. That is ongoing road work. Now we did clear that wreck at 281 northbound before Mulberry. And in New Braunfels, that wreck cleared 35 southbound at 337. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Philadelphia Eagles are your world champions as they ended the Kansas City Chiefs' quest for a three-peat, winning their second Super Bowl in franchise history, 40-22, capping Super Bowl LIX. The Spurs get back to action tonight in Washington, taking on the Wizards at 6 p.m. tip. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This Sports Center update brought to you by Twin Peaks.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
7:01 on the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Welcome in on a Super Monday. They shouldn't even call that game the Super Bowl. That was just a bowl.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time it is a little bit more entertaining.
Some drama. I mean, it was lined -1. That should have been a great game.
Eagle fan had fun.
That's true.
I mean, look at I'm sure there was some grease poles and fireworks and stabbings in Philly last night.
Yeah,
well,
that's every night.
I mean, any extra craziness last night?
I'm sure there was.
Yeah, that was a huge riot and everything.
Anybody fall off a pole and die?
That's the horrible thing for me is
the city that you win in. It's like
I didn't want Kansas City to win because I you know how I feel about the Chiefs. I'm over it. I've had enough.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
But also, Philly fan might be the worst type of fan in the world. Like these are not good people. It is in general, Philly sports fan is a vile person. So I really had a hard time feeling good. Whoever was going to win.
And it's funny that you say that. You didn't grow up with the hate. I mean, Cowboy fan, we've lived through
I don't
body
have
bag game. I mean, we have it's been a miserable.
No, that's me from a full outsider standpoint.
The Eagles ended Michael Irvin's career. I mean, so many things happened against the Eagles. So yes, they are a vile group, and it's funny to hear. I just thought it was the Dallas Cowboy in me, and we all know the legend of throwing batteries at Santa Claus, and they have a jail and a judge in the building, kind of stuff.
It's not just Eagle fan. It's Sixer fan. It's Phillies fan. It's Flyers fan. They're all just dreadful humans, generally. So, I again, as much as I didn't want the Chiefs to win, I also didn't want the Eagles to win. I was Team Meteor. You know how sometimes when the election's up and it's who are you going to vote for? And you vote for Meteor 2024. That was me for this Super Bowl. Meteor, LIX, please. But the Meteor never showed up, and the Eagles won. But yeah, that is not it's a loyal fan base. And I know a couple good Eagles. One of my best friends is an Eagles fan, and he's probably the nicest person I know, which is a really weird dichotomy because, again, most Eagles fan is just garbage.
Because you're not a bandwagon Eagles fan.
No.
You don't just decide at 25. Unless you're a Saquon fan, maybe.
You're born in a miserable part of the world, and that's just, you're stuck with it.
So I'm sorry. Enjoy your time. Go back to Philly and revel in your beat-up city.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if this is the end of the Chiefs run. My guess is it's not.
No, it's not.
Because the big chyron is on SportsCenter, Dynasty Denied. Or I say SportsCenter. It's on Get Up. SportsCenter doesn't play in the mornings. I forget now. But it still feels like, I don't know, when you go to the Super Bowl every year, you're still kind of a dynasty if you win a few of them. You know what I mean?
I don't think they're a dynasty as much as you can in the NFL.
I mean, they've won, 3 in 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, they're a dynasty as much as you can. And they've still got the table set for, the comeback tour, the revenge tour. It just feels like they're so much further away than they were just yesterday, The holes were so exaggerated. The problems were so magnified that they feel further away than a lot of teams that are hanging around in this dynasty edge. It happened. If this is the end, it happened fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it feels like they're closer to the end.
Well, it also there weren't many calls going the way of the Chiefs last night. Early on, there was first of all, everybody who was like, "Oh, that's a BS call on the offensive pass interference." Like, you can't punch someone in the face.
Sorry.
Like, they're going to call that. So I didn't think that, like, everybody's like, "Oh, here they go. They're on their Chiefs stuff again." No, that's a normal flag. But that was the end of it. It was pretty obvious there was no edict from on high.
Speaking of not being able to punch people in the face, Mahomes took one at the end in the face.
Oh, yeah. He got lit up a couple times where I was like, oh, they're going to throw a flag, and they never did. And
it comes out in the wash. I mean, it just goes to show that, it's not fixed. It's just inept sometimes. Sometimes you just go back to ineptitude and it looks fixed, but it's the other side of the coin. It's just ineptitude.
Yeah. I mean, or it's not game fixing. Sometimes it's game massaging.
Well, my brother always called it the keep it close. I don't want to change the game. I just want to keep it close.
Well, they sure didn't do much on that either. They could have kept it closer.
There was no keep it close calls yesterday.
They could have kept it closer. They did not. So it was not an ultra competitive game. And again, I'm glad that it was not ref influenced, because that's the last thing we needed.
Had you seen that ref before?
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't recognize him. I thought, the best thing possible was for me to see a ref in the Super Bowl that I didn't recognize. That tells me you flew under the radar all season. I appreciate that.
Is it because you think all black guys look the same?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially those with glasses.
See, well, that's true. That's how you differentiate. Oh, that's the black guy with glasses.
I didn't recognize him, and that's a good thing. I don't want to recognize a ref. I just seen him fade into the background and disappear for the next 8 months, and me never know who he was or where he came from. And I didn't feel. I mean, the game was correctly called. I never felt anything out of hand, not once. Not once. I mean, Mahomes got punched in the face, but it really didn't have any effect on the game.
Yeah.
I mean, and the way that hit went down is justifiable in missing it.
I think actually that Ron Torbert is that referee's name. I think that's his second Super Bowl that he's done.
Respect, man.
Well, he is actually pretty good. Yeah.
I want to be in an elevator next to the referee of the Super Bowl and go, do I know you? That's how I want. I don't want to recognize that big jacked referee. Those guys I recognize. I don't want to. If I know him, you're doing too much.
Claymore says Rob was too drunk to recognize the ref. Rob wasn't that drunk last night.
I wasn't. Legit. I did not recognize that ref.
Yeah. I wasn't even that drunk last night.
We had good Carbach. Don't get me wrong.
We did.
I had good beer.
But you know what I did? I've discovered this because Carbach sent us. We're gonna have Eric on the show tomorrow. Eric Warner, the head brewer from Carbach. They sent us a care package.
Yeah.
And we got into it at the Super Bowl or for the Super Bowl last night, and I discovered something that is really helpful. Every other beer I was drinking last night, I mixed in a non-alcoholic beer, and that non-alcoholic beer, it tastes like. I mean, you can't tell that it's non-alcoholic.
And the thing about it is, it's not labeled like you would know immediately that it's non-alcoholic.
No.
So I never actually had one. There's one in my refrigerator. Eventually I will. You were sneaking them through.
I was. Yeah.
But you had a hill country drive. You were driving home.
Yeah, it's like it's like mixing in a water basically. Is what I looked at it as. That's how I hydrate between beers.
I give Carbach the award for the coolest can award.
They do have cool cans. You had the Dunkels and Dragons. That was the
it was a cool can and good beer.
Yeah, so we had plenty of carb. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But, yeah, mixing in a non-alcoholic beer is like almost like drinking a water between beers, except more fun. Because who wants to drink water unless it tastes like beer?
Well, yeah.
Right.
I don't drink water. Fish screw in it.
That's true. Rin says all the MAGAs were pissed off that Samuel L. Jackson was Uncle Sam. I didn't think anything
the MAGAs
of it.
had gone to break, man. They weren't paying attention.
Yeah.
They didn't. You think they hung around to watch Kendrick?
I don't think many MAGAs were sticking around for the halftime show.
Everybody shut up. Kendrick's on.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
Turn down Alabama. The Oak Ridge boys are too loud. Kendrick's on. I don't think they noticed.
You know who I'd have to play the halftime show would be Kenny Loggins. Yeah.
Turn down Chris Stapleton's Kendrick's on.
They should do a Super Bowl halftime show with just the Kennys, Loggins, Rogers, and Chesney.
Hey, keep them down. Kendrick's on and SZA. I told you SZA'd be on. Shh.
My God, that's SZA's music.
Turn it off.
Oh.
That's my jam.
No, he said he was outside smoking bud. I think Rob was too, actually, during the halftime show.
That's what we get ourselves.
That's right.
Prepared for the second half.
Yes.
That was the whole game.
Not all of us are degenerates like you.
They had commercials?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed.
I saw one commercial and it had a tongue in it, and that was
that tongue commercial was
that
crazy.
was disconcerting. I just decided to get weird the longer it went.
And that guy whose head was a cowboy hat, that was weird too.
I mean, it took me about 3 or 4 frames to realize his head's a hat.
Yeah, that was hot though. That could be me.
Could be
me. If only my head would grow into the shape of a cowboy hat. All right. When we come back, I want to kick into some post-game sound. I want to hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley. We'll do that on the other side. I got to tell you guys about attorney John Hicks. That's right. If you are in need of a family attorney, if you've got baby mama drama, or you've got you're dealing with a divorce or a custody battle, or you're trying to get your child support changed, whatever it is, you need someone who's on your side, who knows what it's like, who knows what you're going through, and that's where attorney John Hicks comes in. He's just a regular dude. He's a veteran, 6 years as a Marine, 2 decades in the San Antonio Fire Department. This is not some silver spoon, hoity-toity lawyer. This is a guy who understands what you're dealing with and knows that, you know, the things that matter to you right now. And that often includes your money, because at the end of a divorce, who knows what you're going to be left standing with. And you don't want to spend all your money defending yourself. And that's where John has sort of an edge. He does flat fee work, which means he's going to tell you, hey, you pay me this, I'm going to get you from here to here. And you're not going to have to worry about, oh, if I call him, you know, I make a 10-minute phone call with him, he's going to have to charge me for you know, an hour of labor. It's just, that's not the way it works with John Hicks. And on top of that, he's got a payment plan if you need it. So, guys, again, if you're dealing with divorce, you're dealing with a custody battle, you need someone in your corner, that's John Hicks. Give him a call today for a free consult, 210-985-8330, or check him out online, jhickslawfirm.com. That's 210-985-8330 for attorney John Hicks.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's business solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Hey, you. I knew I'd find you back in the same aisle. What are you looking for today? More fiber, more laxatives, more of the same ways to manage your constipation? Look, if your constipation with belly pain keeps coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Folks, there's nothing romantic about home repairs, but when your plumbing has lost that love and feeling and your AC is about to achy break your heart, call Quarterman Plumbing, Heat, and AC at 210-651-5899. We'll fix the issue fast at a great price with a servant spirit.
Joel, this is a special Valentine gift from me to you.
Yeah, but why are your arms red?
I got a deal on this plant for your office.
That's poison ivy, Nigel.
It's what?
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074E and 16004.
Guys, if you're feeling tired or low on energy, it could be your testosterone. Game Day Men's Health in Alamo Heights offers a simple 3-step process to get you back to feeling your best. Call 210-900-3691. That's Game Day Men's Health, 210-900-3691.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
In San Francisco. And the Cowboys hired a special teams guy. It's hard to believe I used to do that for a living.
It really is.
He's a special teams guy.
Cowboys hired a special guy.
30 seconds comes up quick. Huh?
It does, man. Well, my wife says. Did I say that out loud?
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Oh, yeah. This is what, at Rob's house, this music is like, music like this is on repeat the whole time.
When you walk in, it's
I was like, can we turn the sound of the game on? And Rob was like, dude, just vibe.
He's a musical genius, a triple threat, you might say. And evidently got a really tiny weenie.
I ate way more than I'm used to eating.
I did too.
Oh, I'm so miserable this morning.
I am too. And I don't feel like I overate.
I did.
I just grazed for 4 hours.
I ate 2 stuffed jalapeno peppers.
I was eating with my eyes last night.
Oh.
We all do that.
Yeah, I ate one of those, you call them shotgun shells.
Which is like
they're really tasty. But
so rich, man.
Oh, gosh. And we ate so much parisa. I went.
That was the unsung hero of last night. I think we need to talk about that. For those who don't know,
I drove to Castroville to get it because I wanted the best stuff.
It is South Texas steak tartare. It's the cleanest, best beef, ground up with a bunch of great spices and cheese. and it was spectacular. It was as good a thing as I ate yesterday.
Yeah, it was
really
very good. I ate way more than I should have.
That's worth a go get. And this is an unpaid solicitation. You went to Zook's in
Castroville. Yep.
Yes, sir. That's pretty much the motherland, I would think, of harissa anyway.
I think so. I think that's like that's the place to go get it.
And if you're a fan, there's no better. And you know what? I think we converted some people. You converted some people.
I think
last
so,
night.
yeah. Some people are like, your kids were eating it.
Try that, man.
Kids were on the saltine cracker. That's the way to do it.
Have you had any, Vic? Is that up your?
I haven't had any. No, never have.
It does not taste like you think it would taste.
Oh, it's one of those.
Well, I mean, it's a.
Try this.
You're expecting it to taste like raw meat.
Yeah, and it
doesn't.
It doesn't. It's not like that at all.
Because I mean, it is raw meat, but it doesn't.
See, I can't eat
and on
it.
A cracker?
Doesn't like you're expecting it to taste like blood or something like that, but you don't. There's
You're
none
not
of that
sucking
taste
on
to
a penny.
it.
You know, you feel like you get that coppery. No, not at all. It really was probably the highlight of everything we ate last night.
It was very, very, very good.
Excellent.
But you got to eat it that night. I don't think it's something that holds over very well.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave it out.
No.
I certainly wouldn't eat it off the counter the next morning.
Not something you want to have leftovers on. But hey, it was a good treat. But yeah, I woke up this morning. I was like, oh boy, that is some heartburn. It's going to be a long one. And luckily, because I was a guest, I didn't want to drink liquor. If I had watched it at my house, I would have been all boozed up. My heartburn would have been even worse. But I don't want to be the drunk uncle in front of Rob's kids, and they're like,
problem.
Here we go again.
My angelic boys have never seen anything
right.
like that.
They were so well behaved.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a pleasant time. Rob had the grill rolling when I got there. He's out there slaving over a hot
Blackstone and Traeger.
That's right. And a lovely time had by all out there at the Thompson Manor.
We had to pare it down though. We had to go from the big house to the small room.
Yeah,
we had sickness on the hill.
Yeah, Rob's dad got the itis.
Got the whatever the itis was.
So he stayed over at his place by himself. Watching the game by himself in the mansion while we all piled into Rob's living room
across the yard.
Yeah,
it was like a house party with everybody in there.
I walked over and I was like, "How you feeling?" Because all right, looks like you're having some fun.
Yeah,
we would have been over here with you, but
yeah,
got the funks.
Rob's dad had more square foot per person than we did.
Him and his dog saw the food at our place and stayed over at our house.
Yeah. That dog is so funny. When I pulled up, like it comes up and it looks like it wants to kill you. It shows its teeth.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a dog that smiles at you when you show up? This dog legitimately tries to smile as she's happy to see you, but it looks like a snarl that she's about to grab a vein out of your eye.
If I didn't know the dog, I would have just stayed in my car like it was like Cujo, the movie, where I'm never leaving this car because that dog is scary.
It's horrifying, but she's happy to see you.
Yeah, she's like smiling, like, hey,
you're here. No, she's happy, but it looks like I'm not ever getting out of this car.
Yeah. All right. I guess the other the takeaways from the Super Bowl from some of these guys. Andy Reid, they asked him how he thought the team would handle this, and basically said, like, what's the next step? What do you do from here? How do you go forward after this?
We've got a great nucleus of players, and so like we've done before, we work on the things that we're not doing well at, whether it's coach, as a coach or a player, and we all take responsibility for it. And you listen to Pat, you listen to these other guys. That's how they are. They're stand-up guys with it. The coaches are stand-up about it. They did a better job than what we did, and that starts with me. And it's hard to face. It's hard to look at because all the time you spend. But you do that, and then you get better. That's what you do.
Well,
a lot of coaches couldn't say what he just said, but Andy Reid has earned the right.
He's allowed to say what he wants.
Say exactly that. Like, hey, man, I got out-coached.
Yeah, once you've won some, you can say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, if Nick Sirianni had lost this and
said
go,
that.
you know what, Andy Reid's just better at this than me. Like,
everybody would have been,
yeah, that's why you're fired.
Right.
But Andy Reid is kind of reached a level where, yeah, he can just tell the truth and be like, yeah, they were better than us today. They outcoached us, they outplayed us, and they really just did. They asked Andy Reid if his team was feeling a little more heat with the three-peat on the line.
Listen, I don't think so. I mean, it's hard playing in this. I mean, this is a tough game. It's best against the best, and so I think they're more focused on that than they are three-peats and all that stuff. That wasn't a big issue.
Well, having been a part of it through the Spurs and watching try to sustain greatness over a period of years, and the Spurs couldn't even go back-to-back.
Yeah.
It's not the environment. It's the road. It's not that this was another big game that was overwhelming. This is, 5 years in the making where it never stops. When you're great, you play longer, you play more games, you play more minutes, you play more big games, and it just rolls into this continuum of it ain't that they just played a better team, and they did, but after you've been there so long, there's no reserve. Your best is your best. There's nothing to dig into. You have to be at your very best for 4 quarters because there's nothing really left to dig into. And, I mean, that's not how it was 3 years ago. There was a reserve. You could find something in the fourth quarter. There was nothing left with Kansas City. And that's the culmination of not just this year, but years of it. I mean, they need a break.
They asked Mahomes that same question about the pressure of the three-peat.
No, not really. I mean, it's just the pressure of the Super Bowl. There's always pressure, and you have to find ways to deal with that and find ways to respond to that. And we've had good games, and we've had games like this now, and we'll have to find ways to respond to this adversity. And like I said, hopefully it'll motivate these guys, especially myself, to be even better. And it's a short off season. We have a lot of guys come back. We'll have some guys that won't, but it's a short off season, and we have to get better, and so that hopefully we get this opportunity again that we can go out there and capitalize on it.
Yeah, I just think we just gotta get better. It was like we played it it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best either, and I just gotta get better. I gotta do the little things better.
Oh,
I think this week he will be honest. I think in the next couple of interviews he'll come out and be like, "Man, I was terrible.
I stunk it up.
I was terrible. I'll
wasn't a good day for me."
And he's the guy that can say that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot that can come out without getting destroyed by fans and media alike. But Mahomes has earned the right to say, "Yeah, I was awful."
Well, I also, this one's on me, basically.
Threw 2 interceptions in their end. I mean, I threw a pick 6 and I threw a pick that they returned to the 5-yard line, and they scored immediately after. So when you give a team 14 points, especially a really good football team, a Super Bowl football team, then not a lot of good things happen. And so that's why I take ownership in this loss more than probably any loss in my entire careers, because I put us in a bad spot.
An 11.4 total QBR he offered. That's the second lowest of his entire NFL career. Hadn't had anything since 2021, Week 7 against the Titans, when he gave us a 9.9 total QBR.
That is dreadful.
They trailed for 51 minutes and 15 seconds of the game, the most they've trailed in any playoff game under Mahomes.
But they have trailed by double digits now in every Super Bowl that Mahomes and Reid have been to together. So 5 out of 5, they've had a 10-plus point deficit at some point.
And that's the reason we were all watching in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, because it's the fourth, it was kind of...
Well, by about 7 minutes in, yeah. But, I mean,
it's the reason why people didn't turn it off at halftime. Yeah. Because most teams, you're down 24-0 at halftime. The game's just over.
Yeah.
But it was like, we've seen crazier things before. And
because we didn't hang around for Kendrick, I can tell you that.
I maybe I was in the minority. I didn't find Kendrick bad. I just wasn't like. It was fine. It was. I mean, but again, that stuff's
younger crowd, though.
It's not for me. The Super Bowl halftime shows aren't for me.
Oh, they're not aimed at me. I get that. I'm very curious to see, and the numbers will be available later today. What was the number by halftime? Where were the fans by fourth quarter? Where did people go, and when did they leave?
Yeah.
It was a younger crowd halftime show, so all the older.
Well, I mean, all of that, and there's not a lot of Philly fans around the country that were going to stay up late and watch them celebrate. So, I wonder how that went. How many of the Midwest and Kansas City said, after the pick 6, this is done. I wonder what the numbers look like at the close, because I got the sense by the middle of the fourth quarter. I don't know what the highways look like, but I imagine things had picked up, that not a lot of people hung around bars and restaurants to see the post-game celebration.
Speaking of the halftime show, like all that noise they talked about, this was going to be the most secure Super Bowl ever because
Didn't they have a guy run out on the field?
yeah, like during halftime, some guy was able to get on stage and like wave around a Palestinian flag on the stage with Kendrick Lamar.
I thought that was on purpose.
No, well, I guess that's what security thought too.
Yeah,
but
legit. I thought that was that
was not
wasn't.
part of the show.
Oops.
No.
Who let Ahmed in?
Yeah, he ran around for several minutes.
Is he in uniform?
For several minutes before they said, "Oh, wait a minute.
He's not part of the show.
This isn't part of the show." And then they of course apprehended him. But like
our president's sitting 100 yards away, and this dude can get on the field.
Well, the president was 100 yards away. They just had a terrorist attack in that same town. Like not even a month ago. And it's like, yeah, you might want to. You might want to tighten things up around here. Might want to tighten things.
I'm with the dancers. Who's that weird dude over there with the flag?
Yeah.
I'm with the crew.
Yeah.
How you gonna get on the field for like over a minute is wild. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with like the music or anything. I thought I enjoy Kendrick Lamar, so I wasn't like.
But if here's the problem. One, if you're going to go Kendrick Lamar, which obviously he's the biggest of the genre right now. There's no question about that. But to bring all of us along with you, play at least a couple of the songs that we know. Not just
I thought
two.
they played a couple.
There were two. And then the other one, I didn't know who. We knew SZA, and everybody's like, here she comes. But for the most part, that was new stuff. And I don't care what band you are. I don't care who you bring out. I don't want your new stuff. You're at the Super Bowl halftime to show me the hits.
The key and what would have made people like, old white people like the show more is old white people need, especially with hip hop shows, they need a bridge character that can bridge the old white people to the new generation. So they were like
I need an Aerosmith to the Run DMC,
or even like an old white people will be like, oh, is that Dr. Dre out there with him? I know Dr. Dre. And like, they need to have some sort of younger bridge or an older bridge guy who will bring in some of the old audience.
But we can't have Snoop at everything.
No, it
Snoop
can't be
is
Snoop
the
anymore.
white guy translator.
It's enough Snoop.
Yeah, Snoop is now, okay, white folks, Snoop's going to translate and allow you to enter into this. He's now America's grandfather.
That's right.
And he can't work everything. We need another one.
Yeah, we need somebody.
Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart. Was Kevin Hart not available?
Kevin Hart he was working. He was studying.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He was studying for his role as Jalen Hurts in the movie. They're going to do a movie about this game, and Kevin Hart's going to play Jalen Hurts. I think that's what it's going to be.
What was the Papali movie's name? The other Eagle movie?
Invincible.
What would be the word we'd use for the Jalen Hurts movie? Adequate?
Yeah. Good enough.
Adequate. Just good enough.
Yeah. Good enough.
Theaters on Friday. Kevin Hart stars in Just Good Enough.
Yep.
The story of Jalen Hurts and his Super Bowl victory.
All right. Let's hit a break, and when we return, we'll play a couple more of these clips. We'll hear from Jalen Hurts, and we'll hear from Mahomes about the possibility of his boy, Travis Kelce, retiring. We'll also hear from Saquon Barkley, who got his first ring. We'll talk about that next. Morning Huddle 94.1.
Dr. Jacob Torres is my physician, and on days like this, boy, you might want to call a doctor after you might have polluted yourself all weekend long. He's accustomed to guys living their life, and there's a reason you go see a weight loss doctor is the decisions you had made previously for years for most have led you to this, and he understands how you got there, and more importantly, he understands how to bring you back into a healthy lifestyle because he's worked with so many people and been so successful because he adjusts and adapts what he does to every individual patient because we're all different. We got to this place in different ways, but there are some constants. There are some maxims that remain true. You lose weight by taking in fewer calories than you burn. And if you live that life, that's the first thing you fix. Now, how you do it goes about with the system that he puts in place. You're going to be put on a program that will match your history. your medical needs and also put you on a program that you'll lose weight. It's not a crash diet. This is not something you're going to drop 40 pounds and just come and go. This is something that you are going to change your life forever. And if you're ready to make that decision, I want you to write this number down. It's 210-468-1891. This is a program that it does not involve shots or pills or anything like this. This is your body losing weight the right way over a consistent time, and you learning how to live that way. I woke up today. I made some poor decisions yesterday. I will fix that this week and continue my wellness journey. I want that for you. Go to IFFhealth.com. Read about why and how he's been so successful. Then make that call. Change your life. And when you do, come on by and thank me later.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We do have an accident on Loop 410 at Honeysuckle. 2 right lanes are blocked. Delay started ever, so it's going to set you back about 15 minutes. 35 southbound Martin Street to Cesar Chavez. Ongoing road work that's got the roadway reduced to 1 lane. So if you're headed in out of the downtown area, it's going to slow you down a bit. And I-10 westbound West Avenue, disabled vehicle blocking the median. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The slow-roasted Cantina chicken menu is here to stay with ingredients like purple cabbage and freshly prepared pico de gallo. Try it today at participating U.S. Taco Bell locations while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's Business Solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Divorce is a fight. If you don't want to get knocked out of the ring by your spouse, then you need an aggressive law firm with a stable of hard-hitting attorneys at your disposal. Contact Barton & Associates today. Visit TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
What's wrong, Cupid? Lost my mojo. These arrows just don't work like they used to. The facts are people fall in love thanks to Connecticut, not poor old Cupid. You don't say. Oh, absolutely. Look over there. She's got silky smooth hair thanks to a Connecticut water softener. He's got softer skin and cleaner clothes, and now they're all lovey-dovey. Makes me sick. Don't feel bad, Cupid. You still have your bow and arrow. I know a Connecticut runs on kinetic energy like my bow and arrow. There's no computer to break. A Connecticut has it all.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station at your kitchen sink. $400 off with trade-in and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Call Connecticut of San Antonio and the Hill Country.
You know, you're right. I love my Connecticut too. My diapers never looked so white. And my wings, oh, I look good. Cupid, you can always come to work for me, but you're going to have to wear pants.
ConnecticutSA.com.
License number 38961.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
This is Jason Minix from The Blitz, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. We're listening to some sound, post-game sound. Last thing on from Mahomes, they asked him about the possibility that this was the last game he'd play.
I'll let Travis make
Travis.
that decision on his own, man. He's given so much to this team and to the NFL. And been such a joy, not only for me to work with, but for people to watch. And so he knows he still has a lot of football left in him. I mean, you can see it. He always makes plays in the biggest moments. But it's if he wants to put in that grind, because it's a grind to go out there and play 20 games, whatever it is, and get to the Super Bowl. And he's done enough to be a gold jacket guy and first ballot Hall of Famer. But I know he still has love for the game, and he'll get to spend some time with his family and make that decision on his own. But I mean, he knows he'll come back here with welcome arms. We love that guy, not only for the football player, but the person that he is every single day.
He done.
You think so?
Probably not, but I think
he'll do one more.
As far as his career, I don't expect much more. You know, I'm Witten at the end of his career, there wasn't much there. He was a stand, catch the ball 5 yards downfield and fall down kind of guy, and I think that's how Travis will end.
I think it's very first of all, I mean, he's had a good long career, and Mahomes is right. He's a Hall of Famer.
First ballot? Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but he's in the discussion, certainly. But especially when you factor in his postseason stuff.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue if he is.
But even this year was like kind of a down year for him. But the thought was, well, and it kind of showed up in the playoffs. Travis Kelce kept having big games in the playoffs because that's what he does. Yeah. Like Travis Kelce in the playoffs is a different beast. Yesterday, he just looked like
when you needed
an old, washed up.
Well, one of the problems they ran into, and this is periphery to the offensive line injuries, but when it came down to needing to be able to run, the one thing Travis has never been is a blocking tight end. And I do think they need something like that on that roster because they did need to run the football last night. And the four dudes overwhelming their five, it just didn't work out very well. So
it was also going to be hard to run the football once you got down like 24
there was a lot,
to
yeah,
nothing.
There's a lot of reasons. But Travis looked like an old tight end. And he's only going to be older. And you look at where his brother is, and there's obviously a career waiting for him when he's done with football.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if you looked at this team and go, if I come back and put in the effort for 20 games, do I legitimately see a Super Bowl shot? And the rest of the country does. So I see myself doing it, even though I think, you know, he's going to show up for training camp and know this is going to be my last training camp and act as if.
Let's also talk about kind of the less discussed thing that goes on with him living this Taylor Swift thing. He's at a different level of stardom now where he's flying around in these private jets, and he's probably not as locked in
as
on the
reliant
off
on
season
her,
as he normally would be.
You mean the career after football? He's got things to do.
Well, it feels like I don't want to say like he's neglecting football, but it's hard to imagine that football and the stuff that it takes, like even in the offseason, to be great as he has always been, has probably taken a little bit of a backseat.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no question. But that's just part of he's got a $50 million podcast to do. He's got to go to work, you know.
Exactly.
And he's got a payroll to meet with a bunch of people that are now working for him. And that's just part of the career that's coming his way. Yeah, but that's just the progression of maturing as an individual. He has other things coming. And there's only so much time in a month, in a week, in a day to do all of it. And football is going to take a secondary thing. One, because quite frankly, his body can't put it up anymore.
Right.
You just can't do it.
let's hear from the winners of the game. Jalen Hurts. They asked him about persevering to win a championship.
It's been a very unprecedented journey, and the journey is always the beginning until it's the end. I think it means a lot. Quantifying all that work over the years, embracing everything, taking every challenge head on, and taking every joy, moment of achievement and success head on as well, and processing them all as one.
Calm down, Jalen. Woo! Woo! Man, simmer down. You act like you might have won a Super Bowl or something. That dude he is so unmarketable, number one. He is so boring. That's it? That's post-Super Bowl MVP?
I will say this. To think about back to that 2018 national championship game where Jalen Hurts was benched at halftime and Alabama went on to win with Tua as the backup quarterback, came in and saved the day because Jalen Hurts could not get the job done. For him to get here and do what he did yesterday, it's like, man, that's got to be a little bit of a feel-good story. Again, the guy lost his job in the middle of the national title game.
But he did it at Alabama with that Alabama. It is a good story. And then, on to OU, Heisman, all that stuff. Yes, all of that wonderful, wonderful news. My takeaway at the end of the day is if you're an NFL fan, at least if you draft appropriately, if you build the team appropriately, you can win with an average quarterback. It's possible. It's feasible. The most average of all the quarterbacks playing this side of Jared Goff just won a Super Bowl because he had an offense and a defensive line and a running back to protect his ass. He didn't have to do anything crazy. So as a Cowboy fan, if I'm a Bronco fan, if I'm a team with just a guy that's not ever going to be a GOAT, I wake up today going, okay, general managers, it can be done if you will go draft appropriately.
But the odds are still against you.
It's still against you, but I'm just saying, this attitude is if you're not drafting a quarterback every year, you're not doing it right. It needs to maintain. But if I just get a quarterback that won't lose the game for me and I protect him in every possible manner, it is possible to win without spending $80 million a year on a quarterback. You can actually do it. So my takeaway is find the right coach. If you don't find the right quarterback, make sure you find the right lineman. And if you do that, you're so much farther ahead. You don't have to have the GOAT to win it.
Yeah. I mean, you go back the last 10, 12 years, probably back to, I guess it kind of depends on how people feel about Eli Manning. But the two Philly Super Bowls have been won with the two most average quarterbacks in the last 10, 15 years.
It's feasible. It's doable. Is it easy? No, it's next to impossible.
Well, because usually it's Mahomes or Brady or I guess Peyton Manning or Matt Stafford. Like it's these guys who are, that guy looks like the guy who's supposed to win the Super Bowl.
And Sirianni and Howie Grossman's credit, when in doubt, draft a lineman. If you're not sure, get the biggest dude you can find on both sides of the line, and we'll figure it out.
And it's wild when you see the flip from what this Eagles team was 2 years ago when they got to the Super Bowl on defense to what they are now.
That defense?
I mean, that's the difference in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like they went from being a middle of the road defense, which I still remember when the Eagles made that Super Bowl 2 years ago. It was like, how did they do this? Because teams who are so reliant on the run, typically that goes hand in hand with like an elite defense, and they didn't have that, and they still had success running the football. This year was just different because the defense was so strong. Obviously, the addition of Saquon Barkley changed everything for the offense. In fact, they talked to Saquon about winning a Super Bowl his first season wearing green.
Took 7 years to get here. Some up and down, some injuries, but coming here and being part of this team, I remember the first time we were in the huddle, and I looked to my left and looked to my right, and you see all the Pro Bowlers and all the All-Pros on that roster and on that offense. And the defense, I ain't going to lie, I didn't know we were going to have number one defense. It kind of makes sense now because with all the talent that we had, they gave us hell in practice and camp. But it's a team effort. So just, year one, and why not? Why not start our dynasty now?
You know what? I find Saquon Barkley's just so easy to cheer for.
Oh, yeah. That was the nicest way you could ever say anything about Danny Dimes. I got in the huddle, I looked over, and it wasn't Danny Dimes, so I knew things were going to be better.
That was pretty cool.
Looked around, and Daniel Jones was not standing beside me in the huddle. And I thought,
oh, my God.
It couldn't be any better than this.
There's other good players on this team.
Such a nice guy.
He really is. So he is an easy guy to cheer for. So, yeah. Again, as much as I'm not an Eagles fan by any stretch, it was good to see them get this thing done last night. So,
yeah. And next
I don't
November,
know about a dynasty. I don't know if that's incoming
because they're not going to win the NFC East because nobody repeats. So next November, when Eagle fan is furious and mad at Sirianni for something silly, just remember this tape. Just remember today.
Brandon says the Jalen Hurts hate is wild, saying he's average is crazy.
He is the best above average quarterback out there. And if you want to argue that, you're more than welcome to.
I mean, statistically, he's about average.
Yes, he is the best average quarterback out there.
Like, again, it goes to show like what having a team around you can do, but yeah, QBR this year, he was sandwiched right between Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert.
Yep.
I mean, he's
hope springs. I'm telling you, for every team out there in this desperate search for a quarterback, you don't have to have a GOAT. You don't have to have a dude that's going to throw for 32 touchdowns. You can go find it if you are willing to commit to it and, spend the money appropriately, and you have to draft just about dead solid perfectly. But if you do hit it, it can be done. So at the end of the day, and all of us that are sitting watching with our favorite team just trying to figure it out who don't have a Josh Allen or a Lamar, there is some hope.
Yep. And SRS saying Jalen Hurts has won at every level. Like I said, Jalen Hurts got benched at halftime of a national championship game and got bailed out by Tua.
What drives me crazy is when I call him a guy like Hurts who has maximized his ability. I mean, he has gotten everything he can get that God gave him out of his body. I mean, literally. He was not born to be a quarterback. He made himself a quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
You can tell. And when I say he's perfectly average, people get mad. That is the highest compliment I can give. This dude has gotten everything out of his body and his abilities. I mean, there's nothing left in the tank for him to do. There's nothing more for him to add to the game. He has gotten everything he can get. 7 years into the league, he has maximized. That is the highest compliment I can give. The other side of that is I know where his ceiling is, and we're there. This is it.
And also, I mean, if this is the ceiling, it's good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Here's the thing, though. Like, Jalen Hurts.
Well, great. Very good.
It's what we've seen now is even in the Super Bowl he lost, he's shown up in the biggest game. Like, he played great in the first Super Bowl. He played great yesterday. So even if he's not great, it's almost like an Eli thing. There's a lot of Eli to it. It's like, who cares how good you are in the other games as long as when the Super Bowl's happening, you play at an elite level. And this is twice now. I mean, he didn't win it the first time, but it certainly wasn't his fault that they didn't win it the first time. And a lot of credit goes to him for winning it this time. There is something to be said about a guy who can do the job in the biggest moments on the biggest stage. And Eli Manning, that's why I said Eli Manning was about as average of a quarterback as he could be. But there's a reason why Eli Manning is getting talked about as a Hall of Famer, and probably will be eventually a Hall of Famer.
He's on his way now.
He showed up in the biggest games.
And Jalen Hurts is now on his way to a gold jacket. Now, there's a lot more to be done, but he's now on his way because of what he did yesterday.
Yeah. Brandon said, when I think about average quarterbacks, I think of Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins.
Well, that's where he is statistically. You've named it.
More often than not, like that's where he's been in the regular season, but now he's had 2 great appearances in the Super Bowl. Well, one really good and one great appearance in the Super Bowl. So, again, but that's how you change the narrative on who you are. Like, because let's also face it, and I think people around here know, no one cares how good your regular season numbers are if you don't do anything in the postseason. There's a reason why right now, if you said who's a better quarterback, Dak or Jalen Hurts, it's hard to argue because
there is no argument
because Jalen Hurts has done it when it mattered. Even though statistically you'd go, oh, it's not even close. Dak statistically is way better. No one cares about that once you start involving rings, and Jalen Hurts, the Eli Manning, at some point it's like, who cares what their regular season stats are? They go into the Super Bowl and they win, and that's how legacies are defined.
And Hurts is in that club now.
Yeah.
He is now in there and will never be taken out. He's got the Super Bowl, performed well in 2 of them, and won 1 and got an MVP. You're in the club.
It changed. If you're a bad quarterback, it doesn't do a lot for you. It doesn't change what people think of you.
Well,
like when Brad Johnson won, it was like so obvious that Brad Johnson won because of the team that was around him. Or whoever. But a guy like Joe Flacco, when Joe Flacco won, and Joe Flacco was kind of like knocking on the door of like, is he really good? What is he? But not only did Joe Flacco win it, like the Ravens won it because Joe Flacco put them on his back.
And Flacco continued to perform. Even years later, he's still a savior to some other teams. The quintessential dude here is Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer was the functionary that won a Super Bowl, perfectly average, but perfectly in the best way. He had to be perfectly average for them to win. But the thing about perfectly average quarterbacks is if everything else doesn't go well, you look worse fast. You're the one who looks like the problem.
Yeah. So we'll see what the rest of the league does to adjust. But right now,
tush push done.
I think they're going to get away from that.
I think, you know what the death knell was? Not only it made it boring in the Super Bowl, but Chris Jones getting hurt with his neck in that first avalanche.
No,
that'll be the excuse.
I think you're right. SRS, Jalen Hurts is more like Russell Wilson, which isn't bad without the douchiness.
I think Russell has a little bit more talent than Jalen had as far as ball control
so too.
And things like that.
But, dude, it did the job last night, and that's all that matters. All right, we'll be back. Halfway there, Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding the work with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. It's the Morning Huddle, KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by True Green. True Green. Get a golf course quality lawn that's more affordable than you think. Don't wait. Visit TrueGreen.com today and let the pros handle the work while you enjoy the results. That's TrueGreen.com. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson, and I've represented folks here in San Antonio injured by negligent drivers for more than 30 years. If you or a family member has been seriously injured, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson, at 210-900-0400. I've heard from many of my clients that after they were involved in a collision, they would get phone calls asking them to hire an attorney. This is highly irregular and probably illegal. Any attorney that is trying to contact you either directly or through a marketing company is not the kind of attorney that you should trust with such a serious matter. Quite frankly, it's creepy. If you call me, we will speak directly. If you hire me, it will be after you and I have talked. I will explain what I can do for you, and you can decide what you would like me to do next. The phone call and the consultation are free. Getting a smart result requires that you make smart decisions along the way, and that's my job, to help you and your family make smart decisions, and that's based on more than 30 years of experience. If you've been injured in an accident, call me, Jason Thompson, at 210-900-0400, or go to my website, alawyerforus.com.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Claire. She loves her motorcycle, and she's learned to love the insects she encounters on her rides. She may not know the difference between a gnat and a mosquito at 55 miles per hour, but she does know one thing. It's always gross when one flies into her mouth. But she's so used to it that it's weird when it doesn't happen. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back with comprehensive and collision coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Calling all snack MVPs, it's time to huddle up with Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the low-carb, high-protein snack with a flavor-packed crunch. From sea salt and cracked black pepper to hot honey, sweet barbecue, and more, these bold bites are ready to tackle your crunch time cravings. Find your flavor playbook at H-E-B and make every bite count. Because when it's crunch time, there's only one snack you need on your team. Southern Recipe Small Batch.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. The downtown area is the trouble spot right now. 35 upper level northbound at Alamo. That's a disabled vehicle right lane. On 35 upper level southbound, that connector to westbound I-10, we've got a wreck. That connector ramp is blocked. And just on the south side of downtown on I-10 westbound at Proband, some debris in the two right lanes has you slow from 37. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Philadelphia Eagles are your world champions as they ended the Kansas City Chiefs' quest for a three-peat, winning their second Super Bowl in franchise history, 40-22, capping Super Bowl LIX. The Spurs get back to action tonight in Washington, taking on the Wizards at 6 p.m. tip. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Number 3 of the Morning Huddle, 8 o'clock. You guys out there huddling with us, we appreciate you. That's the other thing, as I'm watching this, the score bug was so bad last night. Like, I don't know why that's what they decided to go with, and I thought maybe it was like they had some sort of technical difficulty, and they were going to try and change it as the game went on, but then I was like, oh, that's how they meant it to look.
You're talking about that font and all the...
Yeah, like the
yeah, it was weird. I didn't appreciate it.
It was huge. It was unnecessary.
In the way.
Did not like it. SRS says, I'd take Hurts as my QB any day and twice on Sundays. Well, Sundays is typically the only day that matters.
And today, if you don't say that after what was essentially just about a perfect performance, yeah. But there'll be days, if you do take him, that you'll regret it.
Yeah. I still stand by, I don't know how many teams there are that if Jalen Hurts switched with their quarterbacks, that Jalen Hurts could win playoff games.
Absolutely, I agree. He's the bell curve. He's right there in the middle.
Well, he's perfect for what the Eagles do.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you're not playing behind their offensive line with their defense, like, does it work everywhere else? I don't know. Maybe Baltimore. I know if Jalen Hurts were the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, they wouldn't win. If he were the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, the Bills wouldn't win.
Well, I mean, it's a testament to Sirianni. It's a testament to a system that works. I mean,
exactly right.
I mean, and
when you know what you've got, you build around it. And
how many quarterbacks?
That's what they've done.
We got Burrow. Well, no, I'm not going to put Lamar in that. How many quarterbacks out there that I don't care the system. He just steps into it, and they should be. There's 3, maybe.
Burrow, Allen, Mahomes.
That it?
Yeah.
I mean, Lamar's pretty accurate.
Lamar's gotten there, I think.
If you put him as a drop-pack offense, I think he'd produce. So I'll put 4. There are 4 quarterbacks that I don't care the system. They're going to be fine. After that, you kind of got to have that.
Well, going to be fine. I mean, Justin Herbert's been fine every year. Like he works in most things.
But we still need something. But see what I'm getting at? I mean, I feel like whenever we talk about Jalen Hurts being perfectly average, perfect needs to be the key part of that phrase because –
dude, what it is Jalen Hurts works perfectly as a Philadelphia Eagle.
And that's not every quarterback aspires to have that, but for those 4 who know and are capable of transcending. That doesn't matter the offense. I can work in it.
And I think Saquon Barkley did it like he unlocked it. And you saw last night the Chiefs were so focused on stopping Saquon. And you know what? Credit to Spags. They did a great job of stopping him.
They did.
And if you had told me Saquon was going to have 2.1 yards per carry or whatever it was, I'm like, man, Chiefs probably kicked their ass.
There were 3 eyes on him all the times. There was a backup tackler right there all the time, gang tackled all night.
Even late in the game, when you would have thought they would have had to, they were, it was over. Like the Chiefs would have kind of rolled over and died a little bit. They were still stopping Saquon. It was
the game plan worked there.
Yeah, they said, well, it's got to be that's what's got to happen, and kudos to the Chiefs for making that happen. It's just and daring Jalen Hurts to beat you, and Jalen Hurts beat you is what it boils down to. So there you go. Your Eagles, the Super Bowl 59 champions, blowout. Again, the score was closer than what the game was. This was not a close game.
Yeah, and this game matters in that. I mean, as far as in the pantheon of Super Bowls, when we look back at why am I going to remember this? Well, I'm probably not going to remember this Super Bowl unless one of 2 things happens. Unless the Chiefs come back and win it,
mm-hmm.
and then I'll remember the dash between the three-peat, that one hiccup, or the Eagles come back and win it. It's going to take those 2 coming back and doing something for me to look at this Super Bowl and go, this is why I'm going to remember this, because it feels like the Chiefs didn't show up.
Yeah.
In hindsight, when you can't get beaten that bad and go, I didn't get a game. There's nothing for me to remember here other than a perfectly average quarterback performed perfectly. And that was far more than required. They pantsed them.
Yeah. Coog says, again, average quarterbacks aren't run threats. I'll disagree with that. I think there's plenty of average quarterbacks who are run threats. Kyler Murray being
the guy statistically right beside him.
Kyler Murray is Anthony Richardson's a run threat. Is he an above average quarterback? Is Caleb Williams an above average quarterback? He was a run threat this year. I think you can be an average quarterback and be a run threat.
He has to run. That's part of the skill set. I mean, he has to. If he doesn't run, then he's almost useless. He's a backup quarterback at that point.
Yeah. Daniel Jones was a run threat. There's nothing above average about Daniel Jones other than the fact that he can run the football.
And that is a skill set that is required if you don't have a laser arm. I mean, yes, he is very skilled at that. Has to be.
Hector says, does anybody remember the last Patriots Super Bowl against the Rams? Oh, yeah. What a fun watch.
Yeah.
That was that
was pretty dull.
That was last night was the last time the game was as boring as
Remember when Woods broke his leg? Well, this is just getting bad to worse.
Derek says, why are you guys knocking Jalen Hurts? He's a Super Bowl champion now,
yes!
and was certainly a great contributor to the victory. He's a great football player.
Yes!
Yeah,
all of those things.
That's what we're saying.
And as a NFL fan with a perfectly average quarterback at the Dallas Cowboys side, I'm overjoyed. It shows me that if things are done correctly by the front office, I can win without a GOAT. I don't have to have a GOAT to go get a Super Bowl.
You don't need to be elite at the quarterback position to win.
I think most of the NFL should wake up this morning going, all right, if I do my job well, I can be there too.
Yep. And, every once in a while you need to be reminded of that. And I think when the Ravens won with Joe Flacco, it was like, see?
And it's been a decade. I'm tired of watching GOATs just go out and do it by themselves. It just proves that a team game, a true team can go win it over a legendary player. And the fact of the matter, this part of the NFL timeline, we just happen to have 2 GOATs back to back, and we've gotten away from a full team championship caliber football league.
Yeah. So kudos to the Eagles. And again, it's sad. In a way, it's sad because the Eagles, I don't know if they'll get all the credit they deserve for this, because I think at the end of the day, this Super Bowl will be more about they stopped the three-peat from happening.
That's why I think they're going to have to come back. If they come back next year and do it, then we'll look a lot more favorably on this one, other than Kansas City didn't show up and you guys were just mistake-proof, If they come back and they do it again, then we'll start looking at this and you guys legitimately are one of the better teams.
Because I remember even when Texas beat USC in the Rose Bowl, it was still like that was more about, I can't believe USC lost.
Yeah, and remember that. Yeah, it was. Remember all the talk about pushing and pulling and all that other kind of stuff. You're like, yeah, they lost, but they're probably more talented.
Yeah, I mean, because that was at a time when it was like USC doesn't lose these games, and for them to lose, it was more like, oh wow, someone beat USC. That was weird.
But then when you come back and you go,
you've got to, And you know what? I think the Eagles being there 2 times in 3 years, it's not by accident, dude. I mean, it's just a really well put together team. And of all the guys that maybe I've underestimated, I got to give credit to Nick Sirianni, because I didn't think he was that good of a coach. And I thought when he lost those coordinators, like when he lost Steichen, he lost I can't think of the guy's name, to Arizona. You lose those guys, and it's like, yeah, we'll see how good you are now. And he's got new coordinators who are now, one of them's going to go be a head coach somewhere, and Kellen Moore, and he just keeps finding a way.
This is the shortest span to win multiple Super Bowls with different coaches and quarterbacks in NFL history. Now, second shortest. The Raiders did it in 76 and 80 with John Madden and Tom Flores, and their quarterbacks were Stabler and Plunkett. The Eagles did it in 8-year separation with Peterson and Sirianni at quarterback, Foles and Hurts at quarterback. So just about unprecedented, your ability to come back that soon with 2 different coaches, 2 different quarterbacks, and some of the same dudes. It just doesn't happen.
I guess quarterback and coach. Because I was thinking, didn't Steve Young and Joe Montana were pretty close together, but the same
we had
same
varied
coach.
coaches. Same coach with Seifert had them both.
Yeah. So, Manny says Vic Fangio won that game for Philly. Well, Vic and the front office that drafted all those defensive players, and you can say, well, it's not sexy drafting defense, and it's not. But man, you pile them up enough, and it gets to working. And when you think about how they hit on all of those, and then you look at the Cowboys who took Mozzie Smith, and you go, ugh.
One more thing we do have to count for, as we keep calling Jalen perfectly average, 72 rush yards, the most by any quarterback in a Super Bowl.
That's the most in a Super Bowl?
Surpassing all-time previous record held by Hurts himself in Super Bowl 57, I believe.
Yeah.
Against the Chiefs, it was 70 yards. So 72 rush yards.
I didn't know that would be the record.
Perfectly average.
Yeah. Josh Allen should have been there.
Well, I know.
All I was thinking was like, God, Josh Allen wouldn't be getting shut out at halftime.
I guarantee you, they're sitting. All the Bills were watching that game, going, "What happened? How?
Why? Ugh, disgusting. But yeah, as I was watching that, and I'm thinking about the Cowboys, like all the Jalen Carters and all these studs, and then the Cowboys draft Mozzie Smith. I'm like,
exactly.
That's why you're not good, because you, like you said, Rob. If you're going to build your team around something other than an elite high-end quarterback, you really got to be good everywhere else. And the Eagles have done it. The Cowboys just haven't.
No, they had the right idea. The plan didn't work.
So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's so watching that team yesterday and then thinking about the Cowboys. The Cowboys are so far away from.
It's painful to look at the differences between the two franchises. Is. I mean, everything that the Cowboys have done wrong, the Eagles have done right.
Because it's like, oh, well, you're about to pay Micah Parsons X amount of dollars, and he's your best defensive player, which, obviously you want to keep those guys happy, but you look at the rest of their team, and it's like, what are you? It's like you're throwing money down a well.
Name 3 starters off the Eagles' defense. I mean, most of the NFL, you couldn't name 3 of them because they're not a team of stars. They're a team of really good young players.
Well, and the fact that the Eagles have 2 rookies in the secondary that are balling out, like at a pretty high level. One of them gets a pick 6. Like, the fact that they're fine. It feels like every swing they take is a hit.
Well, yeah, DeGene, what did they take him at, 30? I mean, what was his draft pick last year? He was high 20s.
Second rounder, I think.
Second rounder.
I think so.
You have to be dead solid perfect, man. But it's possible. Every couple of years, you get a team and a general manager that over a period of 3 years make so few mistakes that you almost have to win. You have to make monumental errors, and more than one person has to do it. You have to have a failure from several different places to lose, and the Eagles didn't have any failures throughout. They got better with every week of the playoffs. They got healthier because they were so deep. What was the defensive lineman missed 9 games with a torn tricep?
Brandon Graham, a
first
linebacker.
Game back,
yeah.
He's got himself a sack, and I know at that moment the Chiefs went, "Oh crap!
Yeah,
oh no, he's back too."
And now I think he's going to retire.
Well,
but yeah, when you think about Jordan Davis, draft pick, Jalen Carter, draft pick, Nolan Smith, draft pick, Quinyon Mitchell, draft pick, Cooper DeJean, draft pick, like Nolan Smith, I think I may have said him. But yeah, everybody, they're all hits. It's hard to do that. And kudos to them for, it seemed like everybody they've taken in the last 3 years on that side of the ball has just been a home run. And most teams don't do that.
Sean Desai, the DC they lost.
Oh.
Or Fangio.
No, that's not who I was thinking of. Well, he's the one that they fired.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Jonathan Gannon.
Oh, yeah.
When they lost Jonathan Gannon, they lost Gannon and Steichen in the same offseason. I was like, oh, it'll never be the same. And then here we are, to a different OC, a different DC, and Super Bowl ring. So coaching matters, but it doesn't matter that much, I guess. Like you always say, Jimmys and Joes, and the Eagles have done a good job of getting all the Jimmys and Joes in there. Okay, let's hit a break. When we come back, I'm going to give away some Los Lonely Boys tickets. How about that? Vic, you want to go? You want to go see Los Lonely Boys, don't you?
Mind going? Yeah.
Great band.
So maybe if somebody won and they invited you to go with them,
Maybe I got to ask the wifey though.
you don't ask your wife anything. You tell your wife what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
You tell her.
That's not gonna work.
You tell her, hey babe, I'm going to see Los Lonely Boys tonight.
I'll do it if Rob does it first.
You'll be a Los Lonely Boy yourself.
Yeah. See.
Rob
won't do it to his wife. I won't do it to mine.
I don't like the couch.
I don't ask permission.
either.
I don't ask permission to go out. I just go.
Just go. All you got to do is tell Blueberry, I'll be back.
Right. I'll be back when I'm back.
Eat your fancy feast and shut up.
All right, I got to tell you guys about Cerebral. If you ever scroll through social media, and you know what I did this morning? I was scrolling through social media, and I saw all these people so happy that their team won the Super Bowl. I don't know what that feels like.
I know.
So it was really tough for me. But it's hard to not get wrapped up in the happiness of other people and wonder, why can't I be happy? Why can't I have any joy? And a lot of the times there's there's things where you see, this perfect family that they've got, or they're getting a big promotion at work, and you feel like you're stuck in the mud. Listen, man, stop worrying about what other people are doing and start worrying about yourself. And sometimes just focusing on you can really make a difference. And at Cerebral, they've made it easier than ever to access dedicated therapists and doctor-prescribed medication personalized to your needs. And the best part is they offer in-network care, so you can focus on feeling better without worrying about the cost. And if you're dealing with stress or anxiety, or you want to be more present and focused when you're with your kids, or you want to sleep better, you want to do better in your relationships, you're dealing with something changing in your life, you need someone to talk it through with, try Cerebral. They make mental health care easy, accessible, and more affordable. And again, as in-network provider, they work with your insurance plan, helping to lower the cost. And that's a big factor for a lot of people. A lot of people won't get therapy because they think it's too expensive. Cerebral's proud to be an official sponsor of the San Antonio Spurs. Just like athletes prioritize their physical health, mental health just as important. And Cerebral's here to help you build a strong foundation for your overall well-being. Take that first step today. Visit Cerebral.com and see how affordable and accessible mental health care can be with your insurance. Cerebral, make time for Mind Time.
Feeling the pressure to find Valentine's Day gifts they'll love? Then you gotta go to Kohl's. They have something for every Valentine. Go fun and unexpected with a Lego set. Go luxe with a Sephora fragrance. Go classic with a diamond necklace and more. Then get 15% off some of your gifts, or you can save with a Kohl's card. However you plan to celebrate, Kohl's has you covered with lots to love. Select styles. Coupons do not apply to Lego. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora. Offers end February 17th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Progressive knows not all rides are smooth. Meet Claire. She loves her motorcycle, and she's learned to love the insects she encounters on her rides. She may not know the difference between a gnat and a mosquito at 55 miles per hour, but she does know one thing. It's always gross when one flies into her mouth. But she's so used to it that it's weird when it doesn't happen. Not every ride is smooth, but Progressive has your back with comprehensive and collision coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. Babbel is designed with you in mind. From expert-created lessons to conversational video units and even live classes, you can personalize your Babbel experience to be exactly what you need to really learn a new language more easily. Go ahead, set a goal for yourself. Accomplish it with Babbel. Try Babbel for free. Go to BABBEL.com. That's Babbel.com.
In Texas, your spouse can claim alimony after just 10 years of marriage. Do you know your countdown? Because I guarantee you, she does. I'm Gary Barton with Barton & Associates. If you're considering divorce, then contact Barton & Associates today at TexasDivorce.com. That's TexasDivorce.com.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
The Blitz is going to Vegas. Come along for an unforgettable Mega March weekend at Circa Las Vegas, March 27th through the 30th for opening day and the second weekend of the tournament. Thursday, March 27th, celebrate the start of the baseball season and watch all the games at the world's largest sports book, plus the ultimate March Hoops experience. Take in the action in the 6 pools and the 143-foot screen at Stadium Swim. Book now and use promo code BLITZ at circalasvegas.com. And join Jason and Joe at Circa Resort and Casino.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson, and I've represented folks here in San Antonio injured by negligent drivers for more than 30 years. If you or a family member has been seriously injured, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson, at 210-900-0400. I've heard from many of my clients that after they were involved in a collision, they would get phone calls asking them to hire an attorney. This is highly irregular and probably illegal. Any attorney that is trying to contact you either directly or through a marketing company is not the kind of attorney that you should trust with such a serious matter. Quite frankly, it's creepy. If you call me, we will speak directly. If you hire me, it will be after you and I have talked. I will explain what I can do for you, and you can decide what you would like me to do next. The phone call and the consultation are free. Getting a smart result requires that you make smart decisions along the way, and that's my job, to help you and your family make smart decisions, and that's based on more than 30 years of experience. If you've been injured in an accident, call me, Jason Thompson, at 210-900-0400, or go to my website, alawyerforus.com.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up Monday on The Blitz, all the reaction from the big game Sunday night, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're talking about the game, the commercials, the food, and our final weekend in New Orleans. The Blitz, Monday at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Vamos! Los Lonely Boys! Playing on Sunday at the Aztec Theater. Oh, yeah.
They're a great band.
Yeah, there's a good vibe.
Good Texas band.
If you want to go see Los Lonely Boys on Sunday at the Aztec Theater, how about caller number 8? 8 is great. And you're going to go see Los Lonely Boys. Ah, yes. How far is heaven? I don't know.
Far.
I'll tell you what, it's far away from an Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, that was hell.
That was the worst.
That's hell. Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl. Everybody at Rob's house last night, and I wasn't even egging this on. They were like Rob's son Jack, his girlfriend was like, "Oh, I wish the Bills were here," and I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, I feel you, yeah." It didn't make me feel better, but it was nice to hear from other people that they wished they wished the same thing I wished.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't the only one.
Yeah, I wasn't the only one. Yeah. And I don't know that she even cares about football, but she was like, "Oh, I really wanted the Bills to be there," and I was like, "Oh, me too." How far is heaven? It's just so far away, so far away. But a deserved Super Bowl champ, regardless, and at some point you tip your hat and you say, yeah, hell of a team.
We sit in a world where Ryan Day and Nick Sirianni are championship coaches.
It's wild, isn't it?
Couldn't happen to two nicer guys.
Oh, my gosh. What's next?
I feel like we just kind of got some business out of the way. Like, now we can go back to work.
What is next? Now we've got an offseason to wait and see how teams draft, how teams handle free agency, who's gone, who's going to cry and demand a trade. This generally happens every season.
So it begins.
Well, Debo started it over the weekend. He wants out. And once we start to focus on where the Cowboys sit and the realization of where they are in the grand scheme of football, it's going to be a strange couple of months before the draft. I get the sense there's going to be some seismic shifts with the Cowboys over the next couple of months.
And the other big news over the weekend that the New York Jets told Aaron Rodgers, you're going to be a free agent.
Yeah. I hope he goes away too. His ego won't let him retire, but he needs to go away.
I'm not sure that what he'll do. Is there a team out there that could use him for a year?
If you look at his numbers,
would he make you better if your ex team or make you? And remember, being better than could he make the Panthers better? Sure, but is that in the Panthers' best interest?
Yeah.
No. So I'm thinking of a team maybe if Minnesota loses out on Sam Darnold.
If I was his agent, I would tell him don't sign with anybody. Wait until somebody comes calling about a month into the season. Wait till somebody gets hurt, and you can arrive as the cavalry savior. And if it doesn't work, well, things had gone bad anyway. You were just here to kind of fix a problem. Don't go someplace and go through training camp and be Aaron Rodgers. Don't do that because that's not going to end well. You need to be the hero that shows up and have an excuse for failure because his numbers weren't terrible. If you go look at his numbers over the season, he is a barely average starting quarterback. He had a couple of good games. But any expectations of greatness, those are long past. Even guys like me who assumed that maybe there was something still there, he showed us, he's an adequate quarterback, and he's not going to do a lot of stuff to lose a game, but he's certainly not capable of winning one.
The Jets will take a $14 million cap hit in 2025 with $35 million deferred to 2026 if they release him on the first day of the new league year. Of course, they have the 7th overall pick and will likely I don't know. I say likely look at a quarterback. I don't know.
That by the 7th, the guys they want won't be there, so it'll be a second or third.
And remember, they drafted Jordan Travis last year from Florida State who was coming off an ACL, so maybe they like what they've seen out of him. But my thought is, either way, you're probably not going to want to start Jordan Travis week 1 either. You're probably going to have some sort of bridge-type quarterback.
Kirk Cousins?
That's a possibility, although seems kind of too deja vu-y. Oh, we brought in this guy off a torn Achilles, and
well, I mean, absolutely, but there is the difference in attitude. I don't think Kirk Cousins would come in and rock the Jets universe like Aaron did.
Also, I don't know that Kirk Cousins wants to play in New York.
That's true.
He's not a New York type
because they need a bridge, and that's who Rodgers will be. But don't be the guy in training camp and expectations. Just show up and wing it for a while and leave on a good note. And that's. I think if he'd had a decent year, he'd have retired. You know, if he'd have taken his team and done average stuff and maybe even gotten close to the playoffs, he might have kindly said goodbye. But he played all 17 games this year, didn't come out hurt, so there'll be a market for him.
Hector said the Raiders. I mean, I can't imagine.
Maybe.
But again,
maybe.
These are places where it makes sense for a year, but the Raiders need to find a long-term answer. The Giants, would Aaron Rodgers be better than what they've got today? Yeah, but that doesn't help them long term. The teams that kind of interest me, and again, this doesn't help them long term, but these are teams who are ready to win kind of right now if they can get better quarterback play. I feel like if Cleveland got decent quarterback play, they could do something. And I feel like
I don't think they can go back to this well. I don't think you can bring up another controversial quarterback in Cleveland. I mean, I'm not sure Stefanski's barely adequate psycho defenses could handle another quarterback that's kind of outside the norm.
What about the Pittsburgh Steelers?
See, that one would make some sense. Under Tomlin, I mean, he's done a lot with average, the last couple of years. The arm would actually be an improvement, I think.
Now, the Jets' options are
they got Tyrod Taylor on the roster, right?
I don't know if he's back next year. I don't know. I don't know where he's at. So I know like I said, they drafted Jordan Travis in the 5th round. I guess Tyrod Taylor. Oh, he does have a year left on his contract. So Tyrod Taylor is an option. Again, Jordan Travis.
The smart move is Tyrod Taylor.
The best free agent quarterback. Is a guy who seems highly unlikely to be back with the Jets, and that's Sam Darnold.
The smart move here is you got Tyrod, who is the quintessential bridge quarterback. Quintessential. You don't need to spend any money on a big free agent name. Draft one, get a cheap quarterback, and go and address other places, positions.
What about Justin Fields?
He's a viable possibility, but I'll tell you what.
Because it feels like, at least with Justin Fields, maybe there's some upside still.
There is, but, if I'm Aaron Glenn, why would I want to mess with Justin Fields? Do you think at any point Justin Fields will ever be my starting quarterback? Do you think there's something unmined and unseen that Aaron Glenn and somebody else will go get out of Justin Fields? And if you do, then go get him.
Yeah.
But I think you got to start thinking about who's going to be your quarterback ready to get you to the playoffs in 4 years, and it's going to take 3 years to cook him. So go get him now.
Claymore says, AJ, you come up with teams. Question is, are those teams even remotely interested in Rodgers? I mean, I don't know.
True.
But I'll say this,
somebody will be.
Yeah, somebody will be. I know you might not think so, but around the league, when teams are starting when teams are starting, Tommy Cutlets, yeah, Aaron Rodgers suddenly becomes pretty appealing. So like Rob said, does every team want to deal with the headache that involving Aaron Rodgers can be? Maybe not, but there's somebody who will.
Just stay in shape, come riding over the hill. The cavalry's called in when a quarterback gets hurt, and be a guy that wins 4, 5, 6 games while a quarterback's hurt.
I think
that's
the best
that
move.
way.
I also, and that's why I kind of think, because Cleveland is almost too similar to the Jets, it's like, oh, this roster is great except for quarterback. And we saw what Aaron did with that roster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback anymore. Aaron Rodgers is I don't want to say he's washed, but he's certainly not a top 10, 15 quarterback anymore. And if you think that's what you're getting, then you're going to be disappointed. I said that when he went to the Jets, though.
Guys who thought that there was still physically something there have been proven. No, it's mentally he's still as acute as any, and he can read a defense with the best of them. His arm that allowed him to do some things 5 years ago that he just can't do anymore.
He's in his 40s now, and there's a long list of one person who's had real success this late in their career, and Aaron Rodgers ain't Tom Brady.
No, and Tom never relied on those legs and the desperation flings. It was always surgical, and that's why he never decreased. He never lost much because he didn't have to lose his legs And Aaron he's lost his mobility, and his arm's not what it was, and he's got, it's just a very different place, even though I do think physically Aaron was much better gifted.
Did we get a winner for Los Lonely Boys, Vic?
We did. Let me see what we got here. It is.
I'm sure that the winner is desperate to know.
I know, right?
Well, I want to know.
Well, I mean, it's Sunday night.
Stephen Juarez.
Stephen Juarez, Los Lonely Boys. He's gonna take some chick, and he ain't gonna be a lonely boy that night.
Well, maybe you meet somebody on Valentine's and seal the deal on Sunday night.
It's always happening in the parking lot of the Los Lonely Boys concert. Iron Man on the Brigade Bar. That must be him. That's his pseudonym. Well, sorry. Didn't mean to expose your identity, Iron Man. But congratulations. Claymore says, "Does Rodgers even want to play anymore?" Here's the thing about
he doesn't look like he does.
Here's the thing about egomaniacs is they don't want to go out like that. And Aaron Rodgers is an egomaniac. Aaron Rodgers, well,
you have to be a bit of an egomaniac to do the things he's done. I don't hold that against him. That's just part of being Aaron Rodgers. Is the egomania allows you the freedom to go make some throws and do some things that average dude wouldn't do.
Yeah,
it's part of the craziness. I mean, the part of the greatness is a fair amount of crazy.
The other thing is I just want Aaron Rodgers to keep failing. I dislike him so much. And it was a match made in heaven for him to go to the Jets, who I also like to see fail, but mostly because it's the Jets are lovable losers though. They're gonna stink.
They're not lovable. They're just losers.
They kind of are. I don't know.
When I think lovable loser, I think like the Chicago Cubs. Okay, it's futile, but at least you kind of know where you are.
It's like when I was a kid and the Southwest Conference existed, I always felt sorry for Rice football. It was just I knew what they were and I knew what was going to happen, and it was it'd be cool if they won. If they beat Texas Tech this week, that'd be cool. That'd be good for them. It almost never happened, but it was you kind of felt bad for them in a way. That's how I am with the Jets until the Jets matched with Aaron Rodgers, and then it was now it's fun to cheer against them. Had Aaron Rodgers gone to the Patriots, I would have been intolerable, because now you're talking about matching a team that I love to see fail with a person I love to see fail. It would have been glorious.
I guess. And at least I'm thinking about the Jets. I'll say for 30 years, I didn't even think about the Jets. There was no reason to tune in.
Well,
I never watched
Jets.
Games.
Aaron Rodgers put the Jets on TV more than you can imagine.
At least they're not an afterthought anymore. I'll give them that.
G says Rodgers should be the backup quarterback for Dak. Yeah, I don't think that'd work out either.
He ain't backing anybody up.
No.
I mean, he's going to show up to start. That's what he's going to do. I'm not sure he's ever going to be the type to take a back seat for a win. You know what I mean? I don't think he'd ever sit down for the better of the team.
Well, remember, he did once say, maybe we ought to see what Tyrod can do here.
Well, he did
in that game where they were down by 40. He's like, what do you think, Coach? We gonna take a look at Tyrod here? Yeah, I think so. I think it might be the time.
You know what? We had kind of conveniently forgot that this fool did quit in the game.
Yeah, he basically asked his coach, "Hey,
put his
man,
fist up, I'm out. Coach, need a sub." No, I'm not going back.
I'm not sure this is going to get better, Coach.
Tyrod, get in there.
You think we ought to just see what Tyrod's got?
I'd forgotten about him pulling I'm done.
Yeah. What game was that? God, they were getting blood. Was that the? It was the Buffalo game. It was at Buffalo. It was the 40-14 game. And he was like,
I've done all I can do.
Hey, I don't see me going out there and turning this thing around, Coach. All right, go sit down, Bubba.
Yeah. Was Saleh fired by then? Or was that the
he
thing
was
that did?
long,
Was he long
gone
gone?
by
All
then. Long gone by then. God, Aaron Rodgers, what a loser.
I'm done.
I love it. All right, speaking of losers, that's what we'll do on the other side. We'll see who the big losers were from the weekend. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1. I got to tell you guys about Carbach. Like I said, they brought us a little care package. We had some Carbach last night out at the Thompson estate. Had some of the last of the Dunkels and Dragons that you can get. It's still out there a little bit here and there. It's in a red box, and it's a darker beer, but it drinks really light. Really good beer. And I finally got my hands on some of that Hoplectic. I really enjoyed that. And I even had a couple of the free and easies, the non-alcoholic beers. That's what I was mixing in between beers, to make sure I was hydrated and responsible. That's the irresponsible thing to do. But long story short, Carbox got something for everybody's taste, and everybody at the party last night found something that they enjoyed drinking on. So when you are setting up your next party, or you're setting up your, I guess there's no more football parties to be had, but if you're going to have a Final Four viewing or whatever, and you need the right beer, Carbox got you covered, no matter what the variety of palates are showing up at your party. And, of course, not only are they available in H-E-B and all the liquor stores, but they're in all the bars and restaurants, too, most of the bars and restaurants. So when you're out and about, you're drowning your sorrows as a Chief fan, or you're celebrating your win for the Eagles, go ahead and ask your bartender, make it a Carbox.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We are working a few trouble spots. 35 southbound Weidner, northeast side of town. That's a stall. It's off to the shoulder. I-10 westbound West Avenue, disabled vehicle blocking the median. On I-10 westbound Provant, south side of downtown, debris taking up 2 right lanes. And downtown, 35 upper level, northbound at Alamo, that's a stall. Right lane, causing about a 10-minute delay as you stop and go from 90. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by True Green. True Green. Get a golf course quality lawn that's more affordable than you think. Don't wait. Visit TrueGreen.com today and let the pros handle the work while you enjoy the results. That's TrueGreen.com. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour.
When life changes fast, you need a lawyer who's been there. AJ here for the Hicks Law Firm. Attorney John Hicks offers unique experience as a veteran and first responder to give you a strategic, results-driven approach. Facing divorce, child custody battle, or a complex family dispute, the Hicks Law Firm offers flat-fee representation from beginning to end, so you know exactly what to expect with no surprises. Visit jhickslawfirm.com for a free consultation. That's jhickslawfirm.com, a local law firm with the national resources you need to win. The Hicks Law Firm.
Take the guesswork out of buying and selling your home with Orchard. Hi, Jason Minix here from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Will your home sell in time? Which upgrades are worth it? Can you keep your home show ready with a busy life? Orchard has all the answers. With Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, you can buy your new home before selling your old one. It's simple. Orchard gives you an equity advance, unlocking cash to buy your new home first. That's right, you don't have to wait for your old place to sell. You can move in right away. And no more rushing out for showings or constant cleaning, because Orchard sells your old home after you've settled into your new home. Orchard even handles repairs and improvements at no out-of-pocket cost to you. Their local pros know which upgrades bring you the most money, so you sell for top dollar. Buy before you sell and skip the selling hassles with Orchard. Start your free home valuation at orchard.com. That's orchard.com.
Methodist Care Now Urgent Care has 18 locations throughout San Antonio, open 7 days a week. From injuries and illnesses to school and sports physicals, Care Now Urgent Care is here to help you feel better fast. Find a location near you at carenow.com and use our convenient web check-in today.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business.
Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it, and will beat any print quote.
Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs.
No problem.
I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens.
Totally.
I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing.
I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Oh, yeah. You know what we like to do on Mondays? Like to kick people while they're down.
Yeah.
Even though they're brutally handsome sometimes, we still like to kick them when they're down. And I'm guessing we'll have plenty of people to kick around. We don't want to make it all Super Bowl centric, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about who the big losers are this weekend.
You lose. You are such a loser. You're a bona fide schmuck.
Bona fide.
Time now to find out who blew it this weekend. The losers.
You bunch of losers! Look who's back. It's the loser.
I'm going back to a better class of losers.
With AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hello, losers.
Hello, losers. Let's get it started. And feels like the biggest loser from the game last night was the offensive line. That was not an ideal showing, and it made Patrick Mahomes look really bad, which, again, I'm for. But I would imagine nobody on that offensive line in Kansas City can feel real good about their job security going into this offseason at this point.
What was the Caliendo?
Uh-huh.
Caliendo was a speed bump last night.
Yeah. And again, they've had to move some things around, but not ideal to just be completely exposed to the biggest audience in the world, and that's exactly what happened last night. So they fall into the loser category.
Well, the losers can come in a lot of different forms. The Ukrainians, the Mongolians, the Georgians, the Estonians, and the Latvians are the recipients of the losers. They are going to be that's where all the championship gear, the Chiefs' World Championship gear that they had printed and ready to sell last night, well, those got reboxed, and a company called Good 360 will be shipping all the championship gear to those Latvians.
So I thought Africans got first dibs on all that.
It appears that the Africans this year, now I can't verify that because they also give away the NFC and AFC championship game loser gear. Those are also sent elsewhere.
Are Africans now too wealthy? Have we? Is there an abundance of
there's
T-shirts?
a vetting where they send them, and I'm reading this off the website. Where they send the shirts, they want to make sure that nobody else in the world will ever see them. They go like there's the Chiefs World Champion Licks title LAX. That shirt will be worn somewhere in Latvia and never to be seen in the Western world.
Yeah.
So it'll go and it'll serve a purpose, but the poor Latvians are never going to know that the shirt they're wearing isn't real. They will think in 2 weeks that the Chiefs were the world champions.
They probably will.
And they will wear that for years, and they will be so misled.
Ugh, those stupid Latvians.
Stupid, misled
They're
Latvians.
so easy to trick. They're so easy to trick, those Latvians.
And those Estonian idiots, they don't know any better. They're going to be walking around with Pat Mahomes MVP shirts on.
Man, I don't know who in the organization I should call a loser, but the Dallas Mavericks can't catch a break right now because obviously there's people protesting outside your building all weekend. Nobody wants this. And then on top of that, the big piece that you got back in this whole deal
Luka's injury
is now likely going to miss multiple weeks because he's hurt. Could be up to a month. And this is after his first game. During his first, he looked awesome. It looked like, oh, man, they got something here with AD. Well, now he's hurt, and now you're back to.
He's going to be out weeks.
Yeah. He left in the third quarter with 26 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks. You talk about like, oh, hey, man, they're making some fans forget, huh? Well, then he's down on the ground. Davis in the postgame said he was very confident it was not a significant setback, but
well,
he's like, just the leg got tight, like a little spasm. Well, yeah, now he's looking at missing maybe a month.
I swear,
not ideal.
He pulled up to the stadium for practice and saw those dudes protesting and turned the car around. I'm hurt.
Get me
I ain't not getting out.
Here.
Those guys hate me. They got a casket out there.
Yeah.
The guy that signed me, they're trying to kill. All right.
That's like Chris Jones. Like after once it's 40-0, it's something like, oh, my knee hurts a lot.
There's something wrong with my knee brace.
What's going on with this thing?
So, the big story coming into the Super Bowl was New Orleans and their bounce back from the tragic terrorist event just a couple of weeks back on New Year's Eve. And all the talk and all day long, the security tight, the president's in the building. You got Taylor Swift and all her security. All this is, and the Superdome is the most secure place in the world. And they still managed to let a dude run around with a Palestinian flag for about 5 minutes during the halftime show. After all of that, after everything, I watched at least 30 minutes of Super Bowl security is at a new high. All the stuff they showed us that they're doing, and drones and night vision and all the lasers and things. And halftime comes and there's a dude running around with a Palestinian flag, and they didn't even realize it? Yeah, good job. Well done, New Orleans. You really proved we're feeling safe and secure in there.
We feel safe.
100 yards from the president.
Claymore says these dudes misinformation. Davis played 26, 16, and 7. That's literally exactly what I just said, Claymore. That's not misinformation. Like that's the actual information I gave. Was that he left the game with that was his stat line. He left in the third quarter. It wasn't a lie. It was not a lie. This is a loser. Clippers fan. If you're a Clippers fan, who's your favorite player on the team?
My favorite Clipper is
because imagine the pool of guys you've got to cheer for is like your stars are James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, neither of whom are real fun to cheer for. And then you find out, oh, we got a new player. Well, who is it? Ben Simmons. What? Why can't we have one player that I like makes me feel good putting on my Clippers hat? Like there's no one on that team to cheer for. That is the island of like the most hated dudes. They're all going to hang out together.
Well, why do we hate Ben Simmons? What exactly has Ben Simmons
Because he's
done?
a malingerer and like he
doesn't like to shoot.
Well, he can't. He's incapable of shooting.
I mean, I'm just saying. We kind of have our own Ben Simmons here on the Spurs. His name is Jeremy Sohan. They're the same dude.
We don't. Well, he didn't go number one overall either.
I mean, it's not his fault he got drafted number one.
But we also,
I'm not going to blame him.
We don't like guys, and this is whether this is right or wrong. Guys who say my head's not in the game, I can't play. We don't like that.
Oh no, he's all of those things. But I don't know why that so many people just despise Ben Simmons because the Sixers made the mistake of drafting him number one overall.
Yeah. He's just dealt with a bunch of injuries. I don't know. He's not an easy guy to feel good about. But here we go. Now he's no longer. That's the other thing about Ben Simmons is like. At one point, you were like, well, at least he's like a great defensive player. Now it's like, no, he's not even really. He's okay. He's a decent defender. He's a decent playmaker, but he's certainly not like what he once was. The expectations are long gone, but there's still not a lot of. There's not a lot of Ben Simmons that I'm like, oh, I love that guy. I can't imagine being a Clippers fan. There's not one person I want to cheer for on that team.
But they did get better.
I agree.
I'm not going to go any further than that. They did, in fact, help themselves. Serena Williams is not a loser. But why didn't we see more of her last night?
Right?
Why didn't we just get a flash of that?
I don't know.
A quick 5 seconds.
Because first of all, she looked fantastic.
Yeah.
She did look good.
And we literally had to go, was that Serena? I had to go look it up. That was kind of a big deal. I'm not saying she's a loser.
The frequency was a little high.
But that was a unique part of that show last night that really had some questions about, how entertaining was it? And one of the more entertaining things when you say, would you be entertained by Serena Williams crip walking at a halftime show? Yes, I think I would. Yeah. And I didn't get to see it.
I'm not saying this is a permanent thing, but this weekend Cooper Flagg was a loser.
Clemson.
Oh, did he get hit in the mouth?
Well, Cooper Flagg, he was having crampies. He was having cramps.
Oh.
They were down 2 with 20 seconds left to play, and he was kind of like he'd carried him back into the game.
Okay.
But then when he went up for the shot, game on the line. He slipped to the floor. They call him for a traveling, and Clemson goes on to knock off Duke. Now, this is the same thing, like when they lost to Kansas and Kentucky back at the beginning of the season. It seemed like every time the Duke loses, Cooper Flagg's got cramps. Now, I'm not saying that, like, maybe Cooper Flagg is so great that when he gets cramps, the team just can't overcome not having a great Cooper Flagg. That's how great he is. When he's not cramping, they don't lose.
Right.
But in my mind, it's like, okay, now you've lost 3 times, and the one common denominator in all 3 of those games was Cooper Flagg complaining of leg cramps. I'm just saying there may be some sort of like
give him an IV. You gotta have to
do something. But
something.
I'm
a
saying
banana.
maybe
a jar of pickle juice. Just
maybe every time he screws up, he just goes, "Oh yeah, I cramped." Yeah, maybe he's not perfect. That's all.
Oh, he's perfect.
Oh,
he's not perfect.
He's perfect.
He's got cramping issues.
No, he better be perfect because the Spurs seem to be angling for him.
Oh,
Mitch Johnson. I don't know what to say. I don't know what some of this. I don't know how the Spurs managed to give away close games over and over because there's a different culprit. But over the last 5 games, I want you to look back at what we've seen from the Spurs. Yesterday, one reason, Blues 112, 111. Hornets 117, 1-6. Another one, miracle shot. Spurs took one in Atlanta. They did play, held off. Got pantsed by the Grizzlies. Mitch Johnson isn't a loser, but it's time to have serious conversations. I've said this over the last couple of weeks, but over the last 2 games, tough decisions need to be made. It might be time to tell Chris Paul, despite the fact that promises were probably made, that you're going to have to go to the bench, man. We didn't know we were going to have De'Aaron Fox. That lands on your head coach. That you're going to have to make a decision right now. And the decisions that have been made, whether it be manpower, timeouts, substitution patterns, and all that, it's not working. It's not working.
No, I agree. Finally, for the last loser, it's the American title challengers at the UFC this weekend down in Australia. Both Sean Strickland and Tatiana Suarez got their asses beat. Strickland by a South African, Dricus Duplessis. Who broke his snout in the 4th round, like exploded his nose. He went back to the stool and popped it back into place.
They should never show that on. I want to see that.
Tatiana Suarez looked like an alien. She got punched in the face 1 billion times. Just total ass whoopings for our Americans down there. All right, 1 hour to go of the huddle. Let's finish strong, boys. 94-1.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Eat Lux your way with the new $5 Classic, $7 Supreme, and $9 Discovery Lux Craving Boxes from Taco Bell at participating stores for a limited time only. While supplies last, price of participation varies. Drinks exclude freezes, tax extra.
You've decided to divorce. I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you're worried about getting the bills paid, childcare, and your divorce, we'll help make it simple, painless, and affordable.
Your future matters. Call the law office of Steve Benke.
Call 210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
America's Diamond has never sold lab-grown diamonds, and we warned our clients, friends, and neighbors that wholesale prices would crash to almost nothing. 2-carat GVS2 lab-grown diamonds are currently being traded at wholesale for $264, but some jewelers are still selling them online for $3,000 to $4,000. Repeat, wholesale $264, retail $3,000 to $4,000. Some retailers are selling 1-carat lab-grown diamonds for under $300, and others are giving them away for free with purchase. Lab-grown diamonds are very easy to detect with gemological equipment. Tens of millions of carats are produced in huge factories in China and India, using a tremendous amount of subsidized electricity supplied by coal-burning power plants. America's Diamond has only offered traditional, real, natural earth-grown diamonds that are rare, extremely beautiful, and have had real value for centuries. See our television program tonight on ABC KSAT 12 at 12:35 a.m. or right now at americasdiamond.com.
You know the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Folks, there's nothing romantic about home repairs, but when your plumbing has lost that love and feeling and your AC is about to achy break your heart, call Quarterman Plumbing, Heat, and AC at 210-651-5899. We'll fix the issue fast at a great price with a servant spirit.
Joel, this is a special Valentine gift from me to you.
Yeah, but why are your arms red?
I got a deal on this plant for your office.
That's poison ivy, Nigel.
It's what?
Border Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899.
License number TACLA 141074E M16004.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We are working a few trouble spots. 35 southbound Weidner, northeast side of town. That's a stall. It's off to the shoulder. I-10 westbound West Avenue, disabled vehicle blocking the median. On I-10 westbound Probant, south side of downtown, debris taking up 2 right lanes. And downtown, 35 upper level, northbound at Alamo, that's a stall. Right lane, causing about a 10-minute delay as you stop and go from 90. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The Philadelphia Eagles are your world champions as they ended the Kansas City Chiefs' quest for a three-peat, winning their second Super Bowl in franchise history, 40-22, capping Super Bowl LIX. The Spurs get back to action tonight in Washington, taking on the Wizards at 6 p.m. tip. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center brought to you by Synergenics Testosterone and Weight Loss. Synergenicshealth.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Final hour of the huddle. It's the final countdown. Yes. We've been talking a lot of football today. Can't imagine why.
A little basketball.
Enough.
A tiny bit.
A tiny bit. Yeah.
Enough.
Enough.
Mad at our head coach.
Man,
interim.
It's stupid that the Spurs they gave us a little hope, and now it looks like that was false hope. The Spurs suck again, and no, they don't suck like they did the last couple years.
This is
like
inexplicable.
They suck with hope.
Yes, this is inexplicable. I mean, how bad? How many different ways can you find to lose close games?
It's one. They only know one way how to lose, and it's like, we're going to screw this off late. Like, that's just the Spurs have played well most games early on. Dude, that game that they lost the other day, was it Friday?
Well, that was Steph Castle. Close out on a shooter. You don't lose on a two. Steph Castle, you crash to the rim, and then you stare at that shooter and watch him beat you. That wasn't Mitch's fault. That was right on the rookie. I'll give him.
Well, to be fair, the rookie had the best game he's had in his career.
He had 33, or whatever he had.
But they should have never been down that much anyway.
I don't know. Some of it is you got to learn how to win these games, but it is incumbent upon your coaching staff. It is incumbent upon them to, at the very least, put you in a position to win. That is all we're asking. It's up to you to make the shot. It's up to you to play the defense. It's up to you to do that. And my concern is, at least over the last 2 weeks, they're not in a position to win. And the guys that I feel like are in a position to win oftentimes aren't even on the court.
Yeah.
So that's either by design that we're headed toward flag and the deal was done and whatever happens with De'Aaron, it's all about practice for next year. This is all about next year. Or we're screwing it up.
The Spurs now, at least according to projections, have a less than 1% chance to make the postseason. I don't know if I believe that, but it sure doesn't feel like they're headed in the right direction. This is now 3 of their last 10 they've lost. I don't know. It sucks because, like, early on it felt like, okay, this is a team that's they're going to be around that 500, and 500 is probably you're fighting for a play-in spot.
I guarantee you are.
Now in the East, if you're 500, you're like the 6th seed. But in the West, if you're a 500 team, you got a chance to make the play-in, and that's kind of what I expected of the Spurs this season, was to be fighting for that play-in spot. Now, there's always a possibility that they've got a run in them, like Portland's on right now, like where you just, once you write a team off and then suddenly they just go into this stretch where it's like, oh, wow, they're playing way better than I thought they were even capable of. But I don't know that that's what the Spurs are looking for right now.
Well, look at the company they're keeping. In the West, there's only 2 teams that have had a worse month. Utah,
Pelicans, and yes,
I mean, there's only those
the
guys,
2 worst teams,
and those are the teams that are obviously chasing flag. Yeah. I think maybe we might want to admit something.
No, I mean, you're right.
3-7 now. If it was 3-7 with 25-point losses like we had to Memphis the other night, that would be another story. These feel like we're trying to. There's an attempt to be something other than the losers of ping pong balls, and we can't figure it out.
Yeah, and this. I mean, the division that they're in is now far separated from them. I mean, you're a lot closer to the Pelicans than you are to the Grizzlies. Closer to the Pelicans than you are to the Rockets, and they're in second place.
And the Rockets have lost 6 straight, and you're still.
No, they won their last one. They won one. They finally broke it.
But 6 straight losses.
But you're still 10 games back of them.
Yes, you're still way. Okay, so here's where we sit. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They lost 2 in a row. 19.5 out. They're not going to reach 38 wins, I don't think.
Their current projection is 36.2.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get the 38 that I kind of thought that they were going to get. So when you're doing the calculations now, at what point do we truly ripcord and go, all right, Chris, thanks for coming. It's been a pleasure having you. But your benefit is no longer required on the court on a regular basis.
Well, if you've accepted that you're not going to be a playoff team, you don't throw Chris Paul out because you just soak in what he's got left to give.
Well, I think, but I agree with the fact that Chris Paul still plays. But we all admit that the future does not lie
be starting.
So if at some point
he shouldn't be eating up massive minutes.
It's time for Castle and De'Aaron Fox to treat this like a long preseason. If that's where we are, as we sit at 22-28, 19.5 back in 4th to last place behind the 3 teams that have been so desperately chasing them, the Cooper Flag, that they've sucked all year.
Do you think there were promises made to
yes,
to Chris?
I can't imagine that there weren't at least the expectation that, Chris, you will get the starting nod always if you want it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he did almost nothing on Saturday.
He looks tired, and he looks worn out, and, we know who Chris Paul is, and we know he's fully capable of playing and hitting big shots. He has in the last couple of games. But if we're losing with you by a bucket late, we could lose without you by a bucket late too. I mean, we can learn on the job if that's the case. Now, if he's out there and we're winning those games, then you have every argument to sit in front of Castle or whoever. But right now, until otherwise, I think we're pointing toward next year. And by our actions did not lead me here. I thought the attempt was to be something completely different, and that does not seem to be the case.
And you know, it's not. I don't think the Spurs are losing on purpose. I just think that this is part of growing up. Like, you've got to learn how to win. And right now, quite frankly, you got a bunch of dudes who have never won anything.
Let's be real with ourselves.
With the exception of Harrison Barnes, you've got a bunch of guys who have never won anything.
And last night, 7 threes? Let's be honest with ourselves. How many of these do you believe we'd have lost over the year if Pop was coaching?
You at least get a couple of those. Like, I mean, even if, and quite frankly, if you just split, like if you say all these games that they've blown in the fourth quarter, if you just split those, you're talking about a team that's in the middle of the play-in conversation.
What do you figure? We've handed, given, choked, flopped 5 wins this year. Just given them. Like,
it's felt that way. 5 or 6.
That's 27 wins. That puts you firmly right there at 7th or 8th place right now. You're not. I mean, and that's
where we expected them to be.
Yes.
And again, you're not going to win all of those. If there's late coin flips, you're going to lose some of those. That's fine, but it just feels like every game the Spurs end up on the wrong side of that. And that game at Charlotte was like the perfect example. Like, and the fact that it came down to them taking a shot at the buzzer that was 0.2 of a second late. It's like, yep, that's about right. That's what I hate saying this about the Spurs because maybe the expectations were unfair, but that's what a team of a bunch of losers does, is they lose games like that. And somebody's got to teach them how to win. And no one in the world has more experience at winning basketball games than Greg Popovich, so it certainly hurts not having him out there.
It just feels like we're treading water when we felt like we were headed toward the other side. And I think that's the most disappointing part about this week. And it's only going to get harder. They're not coming home for a month.
Yeah. Are you frustrated that there's been no update on Popovich?
No, I'm not frustrated. Anybody who's ever known anybody who dealt with even a moderate stroke knows that the timeline is in years. It's not days or months. It's a long recovery. And that's just to getting yourself back to where you can become something of what you were above and beyond just being normal. And we're asking a mid-70-year-old man to come back from a stroke, jump on an airplane and fly 42 flights and coach. I mean, let's be real here. I don't have any expectation at all.
And I don't think you should. Here's my thought, though. If the Spurs – do you think the Spurs plan on bringing back Greg Popovich?
I think Pop will be a part of the Spurs for a long time.
Okay, but do you think Greg Popovich will coach the Spurs again?
No.
Okay. I don't either. So if we think Greg Popovich isn't going to coach the Spurs again, why not come out and say it? And because remember,
no, I agree with you here.
I want you guys to remember out there, De'Aaron Fox just raised his hand and said, "I'd like to go play for the San Antonio Spurs." If you suddenly come out and say, Greg Popovich is not going to return to coach, we're going to ride this season out with Mitch and readdress it in the offseason. It doesn't tell Mitch that he's fired. It tells Mitch you've got the rest of the season to figure it out, and you've got every potential coach looking at this going, ooh.
Oh, this is the case, yes.
I could coach Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. That's exciting.
Well, listen, I hate doing this because it's painful to me. But when De'Aaron Fox signed with the Spurs, did De'Aaron mention Pop once? He didn't mention, I wanted to play for the greatest coach to ever stop the sidelines. I cannot wait to play with Pop. The conversation was, I called Steph Castle because I wanted to make sure he knew he wasn't felt threatened, that I came here to play with him. It had nothing to do with Pop. And up until this point, anybody that showed up when LaMarcus got here, it wasn't because he wanted to follow David or Tim. He wanted to play for Pop.
Yeah.
When DeMar DeRozan got forced here, it was Pop that made things acceptable. We have the biggest move in Spurs history, and De'Aaron Fox doesn't come out and say, I cannot wait to play for Pop, because the conversation before the trade was, guess what? You're probably not going to play for Pop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird, awkward. No one knows exactly what's happening. But I do think there could be benefit to coming out and saying,
yeah,
Popovich isn't going to be back, guys. Like, unfortunately.
Like, when you do that, though, it's kind of like putting your relative in hospice. It's kind of like admitting the end is near, you know, and no one wants to, and it's about comfort and all that. But when someone you care for is in hospice, there is an end in sight.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're ready to do that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. What's the alternative?
Well, it's
like
going to happen.
waiting until he dies?
Well, no,
or
but it's going to happen at the end of the season when we really have to truly start making some of these big decisions. Then the first and foremost will be who's going to coach.
I'm a believer in if you know you're going to find a new coach, you should be the first one to announce that you're looking for a new coach. It's kind of the opposite of what Jerry did. You know, Jerry waited till till everybody else was all the other coaches, all the other jobs were open, and then at the very end, he's like, "We're going to hire a new coach."
You do the opposite.
It's like, what?
What wouldn't Jerry do?
Yeah.
That's what it would be.
The smart thing is to be the first one to say, "Hey, we're going to look for a new coach this offseason, or we're going to go through a process this offseason."
Well, I will say this: I'm very comfortable in the fact that the Spurs have a pretty good idea who the next coach is going to be. I don't think it's a nebulous decision. I think that there is a list of candidates, and we're down to 2 or 3 that will be the close.
Well, I think that they thought maybe Mitch was the answer, and I think they're probably starting to see that it may not be.
The sad thing about it is he might have very well been the next if Pop would have coached for 2 more years. But, you get thrust into it, and the timeline changes. What's former coach up at UT, the assistant head coach that was the head coach in waiting when Mac was going to leave and didn't make it through a year.
Muschamp.
Just because Mac didn't survive long enough for Will Muschamp to grow into the job. And I get the sense that maybe that's where we are. But I am also comfortable in the fact that RC's been doing this a long time. There's dudes waiting, maybe ladies waiting.
Oh, a lady coach?
I noticed Becky was hanging around here a lot when we were getting ready to go to Paris.
That'd be wild.
I certainly want to spend some time
here. Lady
here.
basketball coach.
Just saying.
Do you think that's why the head coach at Iowa retired after Caitlin left?
Maybe that's it. Well,
she's like, I'm going to bring the Caitlin Clark mentality to San Antonio. Ooh.
Well, I would be paying very close attention.
I don't even know her name, but I'm like, oh, yeah, Caitlin Clark's college coach. She could be the coach of the Spurs.
Or
she's so good. She's so good. She had Caitlin.
Sometimes that's all it takes, man.
And if the Spurs can trade for Caitlin, imagine they have the first lady coach and lady player. Oh.
Wow.
We could use the shooting. She might arrive as our best shooter.
Or the Spurs can hire Steve Kerr.
Oh, by the way, we do need to welcome Bismack Biyombo to the Spurs roster.
Is he still on the roster?
Today he's got a 10-dayer anyway, so we'll have him for a few days.
Yeah, we'll see how any of these guys hang on. Well, I don't know what the roster will look like. Once the trade deadline happens, you usually got about a 2-week window, and they'll settle it in, and we'll figure out.
And that's who it is.
And you know what? And that should give us a better idea of what the Spurs' intentions are for the rest of the season.
Well, first and foremost, I want to see a whole bunch more of that backcourt playing together. And by the way, another thing, Devin Vassell is really playing well.
He is.
He might be the best Spur right now. Last 3 games, Devin is his. There's something about De'Aaron's presence that has allowed Devin to do some things that, or maybe by default he could be more aggressive. But Devin is lighting it up over the last couple of games.
De'Aaron's been pretty damn good too.
Oh man, godsend!
My goodness. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at what's going on in the world outside of sports. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. This wreck on 281 southbound approaching Basse. Now off to the right shoulder. A little bit of a delay from airport. We've got a wrecker on scene, so hopefully that should clear soon. 35 southbound Walsham, that stall off to the shoulder. And road work downtown. 35 lower level southbound Main on down to Cesar Chavez. Roadway reduced to 1 lane, causing about a 10-minute delay. I'm Debbie Alcacer, KTSA Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radio.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Davis Law Firm secures important verdicts and settlements for Texans hurt in a car, truck, or 18-wheeler wreck. Many in the millions of dollars. No case is too big or too small. And remember, there's no fee unless we win. So if you want more, call the Fours. Davis Law Firm San Antonio, 444-4444.
The Blitz is going to Vegas. Come along for an unforgettable Mega March weekend at Circa Las Vegas, March 27th through the 30th for opening day and the second weekend of the tournament. Thursday, March 27th, celebrate the start of the baseball season and watch all the games at the world's largest sports book, plus the ultimate March Hoops experience. Take in the action in the 6 pools and the 143-foot screen at Stadium Swim. Book now and use promo code BLITZ at circalasvegas.com. And join Jason and Joe at Circa Resort and Casino.
Hunger striking, snack time calling, it's crunch time. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds brings you the boldest protein-packed crunch you can't resist with mouth-watering flavors like hot honey, sweet barbecue, and sea salt and cracked black pepper. Why settle for chips when you can level up your snacking game? Plus, they're low-carb, high-protein, and made for adventurous appetites. Score big flavor today. Grab Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds at H-E-B.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
In San Francisco. And the Cowboys hired a special teams guy. It's hard to believe I used to do that for a living.
It really is.
He's a special teams guy.
Cowboys hired a special guy.
30 seconds comes up quick. Huh?
It does, man. Well, my wife says. Did I say that out loud?
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime.
All right. Who likes pizza? I like pizza.
I do.
Only pizza I don't like is it Pittsburgh pizza where they bake the dough and just throw the cheese and pepperoni on top of the dough unbaked? Just hand it to you like that?
I've never heard of that.
Never heard of that.
I think that's Pittsburgh, yeah.
Gross.
Man, you've been everywhere.
Oh, I'm proud to say I've been to Pittsburgh.
Well, how do they do it?
It's hard to get
but
there.
how do they do it in Florence?
Yeah.
Oh,
or
they don't
Milan.
do pizza, though.
What about Sicily?
Sicily?
No.
I haven't been there.
Oh, we
Oh,
found, we found a place.
You're such a poor.
Sicily.
Oh boy. Let's see
I
what's.
like pizza though.
I like pizza too. If you would like to go get free pizza, at least $50 worth of pizza.
Yeah.
Oh, $50 will get you plenty of pizza at the
be
Mellow
well-fed.
Mushroom.
Yeah, man.
I love Mellow Mushroom. That's probably the pizza that I eat the most often because, A, it's really close to my house, but B, they make a fine pie, friend. Fine pie. If you want a $50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom, what should we do? Should we give it away to the Brigade Bar?
It's always good to take
How
care
many
of them,
people
so
are on the
take care
Brigade
of
Bar
us.
today? How's our numbers been, Vic? Are we solid? Should we
Earlier they
reward them?
were. No.
There was a bunch of people saying terrible things about me earlier today. I should reward.
I know, just right off the gun.
I know.
Right?
It's like, oh,
Like,
AJ's a
wait
loser.
minute.
Ha.
Tell you what,
man. Talking about how much they missed Rudy J. Like, they had enough of me.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
It's
yeah.
the post.
No Brigade Bar. Just give it away on
Give
the
it
phone.
away on the phone? Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. Let's give it to caller number 5.
Caller
You're going to win a
5.
$50 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. We'll see if, on one day when the Brigade Bar doesn't hurt me the way they hurt me today.
Yeah, we'll give them something.
I'll give them something. But today they hurt me.
And if you're not down with pizza, I'm looking at their menu. Like pretty good burgers.
Yes.
Calzones.
Well, I mean, calzones are
It's
just
a
pizza.
No,
It's just a different kind of pizza.
Like a pizza sandwich.
But it's delicious.
They do gluten free.
Delicious.
You hate gluten.
I usually don't like barbecue chicken pizza, but they do a pretty boss barbecue chicken pizza.
Barbecue chicken pizza.
Yeah, I think they call it Funky Chicken Q.
Okay.
And it's pretty good. I like the meats pizza there. They do that's my go-to generally.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, good grub over there at Mellow
I also like their
Mushroom.
beer cheese.
Oh, that's good with the pretzel. All righty then. Let's see what's going on in the world outside of sports. A burglar has been jailed. Now, listen.
Okay.
This guy seems like a really, really smart criminal. He stole the keys for a BMW. He broke into a home, stole the keys to a BMW, drove off, and was spotted driving erratically just minutes later by patrol officers. Police chase began with a 25-year-old man. He was getting up to speeds of around 80 miles an hour before he crashed into some railings, and he ran off. And shockingly, they were able to find him. Probably didn't consider the fact that, the reason why he crashed was he was driving recklessly in the snow.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Snow played a role in this. All right.
Then when he ran, there's
footprints.
There's footprints. They led literally right to where he was hiding in a garden. He had tried to throw a tarp over himself, and
the footprints lead you. All right. That's why I don't see how anybody gets away with it in the snow.
I know.
It's very hard. It's very hard to be a criminal.
Where'd he go?
In the
Right there.
snow? I mean, I don't know.
There's footprints right there.
The footprints lead to here, but all I see is a tarp.
It's just a tarp. He evaporated.
Did he turn himself into a tarp?
Disappeared.
Huh. And then they removed the tarp, and what do you know? There's the criminal. Who saw this coming?
That's top-notch policing.
Who saw this coming?
They had the great cops working that.
Big news from the world of butts. Yeah. An anal surgeon has come
that's
out.
the last place in medical school.
And he said,
the anus. Damn it.
This is Dr. Evan Goldstein.
Proctologist.
1/3 of all people coming to see him have an issue related to the same product.
What's the product?
Well, he says it's a toilet paper issue. And the preferred method of wiping, he says, is not wiping.
You dab?
When you're looking at someone's anus, to the left and the right are these wrinkles. He says it's like an accordion. It opens and closes. the front and the back towards the vagina, toward the penis and testicle area, or the tailbone.
Your gooch.
The skin there is not wrinkled. It's very thin.
Mine is supple and soft.
When we wipe, where do we wipe?
Over that?
Usually front to back. Thin skin. We all wipe so much, so what happens over time? People tear the skin. It gets irritated.
Good
it gets
God.
angry at us.
What's going on? What are you doing down there?
What are you using,
What are you you mad?
That's why I use Charmin.
Now, he says instead of wiping, he suggests cleaning the area without toilet paper. Using,
those
he
are
says,
the
I'm a
fancies
huge
like
bidet
you.
fan.
You're-
I do like a bidet, but I don't have one here. He says you can thoroughly wash the anus without harming it. He also recommends a quick shower or rinse if you don't own a bidet. Imagine you got to
wipe.
Well, the American anus has been taken care of way too much.
Now, he does say you always want to make sure you're drying yourself because moisture in that area can cause irritation. This is one of the reasons why he says even though wet wipes are wildly popular, we should never use them.
Well,
they clog up the sewers.
This is bad news for me because I'm a wet wipe believer.
Yeah, but I dry it off with the toilet paper.
Hairdryer.
He says they are so terrible, not only for the environment, but for your hole. There's so many companies out there throwing wipes, and I think they should all be banned. I see 90 people a week in my surgical office, and I would say 1/3 of all the people coming through are coming in from wet wipe-induced issues.
I use baby.
What is going on in this world?
It says that's because using them can change the microbiome of that area of the body. Think about it. We have good bacteria, we have bad bacteria, but they are in homeostasis. They're in equilibrium. Wet wipes F that in a really bad way. I see ridiculous dermatitis in my patients, bacterial infections. Now that you've messed up that microbiome, it's causing so many problems. If you're going to wipe using toilet paper, he recommends more of a blot than a wipe, and do it in a standing squat because there's less blood flow into that part of the body when you're standing, and that means less potentially problem-causing pressure on the delicate area.
What the hell's going on in that stall? What are you doing in there?
I'm bending.
You're standing squatting.
Hold on.
They say there's some people that say it's harder to wipe when they're standing.
Well, it is.
Well, there is
They
that.
don't feel like they're getting the full hole.
If they have short arms.
But he says, but we don't need to go all up in there. If you're going all up in there, we need to go back to diet and fiber and pre-probiotics and thinking about better strategies. I always say it's not butt health, it's gut health.
So the doc wants me to start wiping standing up?
Yes. Or squatting.
I only do that if I miss something. and
Does
go
he
back
have
later.
any idea how old I am?
Well, it says also here that when you do it in a standing squat, there's less blood
What
flowing
exactly
to the
is
party.
a standing squat?
Let's see. Hold on.
I think that's it.
So I'm
Right there.
Yeah,
That's your
like
spot.
that.
That's your
so
sweet spot.
That's it.
Am I
right there.
wiping from behind or am I going from underneath the scrot? Am I going underneath?
Well,
or am I trying to?
because you're not wiping, so you're blotting now. Remember?
Well, how am I reaching it if I'm squatting? How am I getting back? I can't. My arms aren't long enough.
Oh, that's right. You're left-handed.
Well, even if I'm right-handed, how am I getting back to the nether regions?
I don't know.
So it says the longer you're sitting on the bowl,
Which can be hours if
The
the
more-
Candy Crush game is cooking.
the more blood down there, the more wiping, the more irritation. The body senses that. Instead, we want to get vertical again as soon as possible to relieve that pressure. So you poop, you wipe once or twice while seated, and you finish standing up.
Really? I don't get it.
Why? Because the blood starts to leave when you stand up. The mechanism starts to go back to the normal daily position. So there you go.
It's still no. Can't do it.
Oh, you can't do things the right way? You just want to go see the anal surgeon?
Strained a hammy.
I've been doing things the wrong way for what, 53 years now?
And look at you.
And
Are
look
you?
at me.
You're not a picture of health, Vic.
No.
Like you've been
But
doing it
nothing,
wrong.
It has nothing to do with that.
You don't know that.
Not yet.
You don't know that.
Did that cause my kidney to go away?
It could.
Really?
It could. I don't know. All these things are related. It's not butt health, it's gut health.
So I got to start standing and wiping on the third swipe.
Yes. Yes.
Pulled a hammy. What happened? I can't come to work today.
I can't come to. I'm stuck.
I didn't stretch out before the wipe.
We've got another mega church pastor in the news.
Oh, good.
Yes. And you'll never guess where it is.
Where?
Dallas area. Yeah, that's right. Bishop T.D. Jakes.
Oh, no.
Bishop?
You know who T.D. Jakes, that's not just your everyday run-of-the-mill preacher. That's big time now.
This is the big stuff.
He saved Dion. He saved Michael Irvin.
He's
this is big time Dallas. This is big time now. He's Oprah's preacher. This is
okay.
He's the Joel Osteen of Dallas.
He pretty much is.
Understood.
Yeah. The brother of a former minister who has accused T.D. Jakes of sexual misconduct has filed a sworn affidavit alleging that the Dallas megachurch pastor also tried to sexually assault him. The affidavit is signed by Georgia minister Richard Youngblood, who's 62 years old, the brother of Dwayne Youngblood, whom Jakes is suing for defamation. It is a 167-page motion filed in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Pennsylvania that seeks to dismiss Jakes' defamation lawsuit. Dwayne Youngblood alleged last year in a YouTube talk show that Jakes groomed and attempted to sexually assault him years ago. Jakes is the senior pastor at the Potter's House, which has over 30,000 members.
Big time.
30,000. Wow. Dwayne Youngblood's brother's allegations are completely false, says Dustin Push, a lawyer for Jakes. The court has set a response deadline of February 14th, on which we will file a robust and thorough response to the latest version of Mr. Youngblood's meritless claims and will continue to hold him accountable for the harm his knowingly false accusations have caused. So drama. He said he was Jake's, quote, armor bearer, which included driving him to events. On one occasion in the late 80s, Richard Youngblood alleged in the affidavit that he and Jake shared a hotel room while traveling together, and Jakes climbed into his bed and tried to kiss him. What? I'm telling you. It seems like every mega church, it seems like this is what's going on. You got to be careful, friends. Got to be careful. All right. Let's hit our last break of the day, friends. And when we come back, we'll look at the daily lines without football. Womp, womp. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a huge inheritance. But a phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard for a new one on us. Just trade in any phone from our top brands with select unlimited plans. $829.99 purchase with new smartphone line on select unlimited plans. Minimum $90 per month with auto pay plus taxes and fees for 36 months required. Less $830 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Trade-in terms apply. Payoff phone requires smartphone purchase and port-in with new smartphone line on select plan. Must provide most recent bill showing payoff amount of eligible phone. Additional terms apply.
Guys, if you ever spend time on social media, you'll often find yourself just being hit with bad news and worse comments, and you'll see how everybody's life is so picture perfect and they've got this great job promotion and you're wondering, man, where am I? It's hard not to get wrapped up in how everyone else is doing. Imagine how you'd feel if you just spent 45 minutes focused on how you're doing. That's what they're about at Cerebral. They make it easier than ever to access dedicated therapists and doctor-prescribed medication personalized to you. And the best part, Cerebral offers in-network care so you can focus on feeling better without worrying about the cost. If you're dealing with stress, anxiety, you want to be more present and focused, you want to sleep better, you want to have better relationships, you've got to work on yourself. Cerebral is proud to be an official sponsor of the San Antonio Spurs. Just like athletes prioritize their physical health, mental health is just as important, and Cerebral's here to help you build a strong foundation for your overall being. So take the first step today. Visit Cerebral.com to see how affordable and accessible mental health care can be with insurance. Cerebral, make time for mind time.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Take the guesswork out of buying and selling your home with Orchard. Hi, Jason Minix here from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Will your home sell in time? Which upgrades are worth it? Can you keep your home show ready with a busy life? Orchard has all the answers. With Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, you can buy your new home before selling your old one. It's simple. Orchard gives you an equity advance, unlocking cash to buy your new home first. That's right, you don't have to wait for your old place to sell. You can move in right away. And no more rushing out for showings or constant cleaning, because Orchard sells your old home after you've settled into your new home. Orchard even handles repairs and improvements at no out-of-pocket cost to you. Their local pros know which upgrades bring you the most money, so you sell for top dollar. Buy before you sell and skip the selling hassles with Orchard. Start your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
This is Joe Reinagle. You're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Who am I to disagree? Traveled the world and the 7 seas. Everybody is looking for something. Oh, yeah. You know, Rob, the other day, remember we were talking about the dog day on Friday. We said we got to back all these dogs.
And it worked.
4-0 they went. 4-0 now they didn't all win. But Washington, who was a massive home dog, they were 19-point home dog to the Wizards. Wizards gave them hell. Hornets won outright when the Spurs were a 9.5-point road favorite.
That had to be their biggest road favorite line in years, and they didn't even come close.
The Raptors were at the Thunder. The Thunder were 20-point favorites. Raptors covered that, although it was a little sweaty. Then the Jazz covered against the Suns. 4-0 those dogs went. We'll see if we can find some more of that magic. But right now we're going to have to do it without – there's no NFL. There's no NFL to look at, unfortunately. We're SOL on that. The odds for DraftKings on the next year's Super Bowl, you can get the Cowboys at 65-1 on DraftKings. So there's a little bit better number for you there. The Eagles are the favorites on DraftKings. So depending on the book you look at, DraftKings has them at 6-1. They have Bills, Ravens, Chiefs all 7-1. Lions 10-1, Niners 16-1, Commanders, Packers 18, and the Bengals 20-1. Texans 30-1.
Where was Detroit again?
10-1.
10-1.
10-1. I'll be honest, Detroit would be one of those teams that wouldn't surprise me if they took a massive step back.
They could. I mean, they're volatile.
That's such a good division.
That. Yeah, they're volatile. But I think more than anything else, when I look back at the Detroit season, what failed them at least last year was this ridiculous bye schedule where they had a bye in October and then played like 17 consecutive weeks of football, and they managed to do it. And when they got the time off, they just couldn't come back from it. So they're my preseason. They're the ones I look at. But of all the teams that could regress, absolutely they're the ones.
How about the odds for MVP next season?
Lamar. It's going to be Lamar in a revenge tour is what my guess would be.
Lamar's your favorite at 5-1?
He's not. I think so. I think that's probably right.
Joshua Allen plus 550. Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow plus 750.
Joe Burrow would be my favorite. I'd put money there today.
Jaden Daniels 10-1.
There's one more that hadn't been listed.
Justin Herbert 20-1. Jordan Love 22-1.
Like a little bit of that.
C.J. Stroud 25-1.
Keep going.
Along with Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Jalen Hurts all 25-1. Caleb Williams and Jared Goff 28-1.
Where's our Charger? Where's Herbert?
Herbert was he's 20-1.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, he was right after Daniels.
That's the money I like too.
And then Dakota Prescott is 35-1, along with Brock Purdy and Bo Nix.
You know what? That's not bad money.
It's not. Saquon 50-1.
Yeah, that's not bad money either.
I mean, what are you going to do? Be better than he was this year?
You could get 500
tells
yards
me now
in the playoffs.
We got a winner on the mellow mushroom stuff.
Let me see.
Who's our? I want to know who our big winner is. I want to know who I need to buddy up to.
Oh yeah, let's see. It is pulling up here. We got. It is Joseph Garza.
Joseph Garza. Congratulations, Joseph. All right. Here's some interesting props for next year. Passing yards on some of these star players. Jaden Daniels, 3,300.5 passing yards, more or less.
How much? 33?
3,300.
More.
I'm going to go under.
Well, I think they're going to help him. I think they're going to probably get another wide receiver in the offseason. I think they're going to try to do everything they can to make things easier, but that's a big number.
I think if anything, like I expect, again, I always just kind of.
C.J. Stroud second-year drop.
Yeah. But I expect, if anything, they're going to try and take some off of his plate because he did so damn much last year.
He's electric. I wouldn't bet against him doing it. I know that.
Let's see. So this year he had 35.68. Yeah, I like the under on that one. How about Patrick Mahomes? His number is 4,050 yards.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wait till
he threw for 39.28 this year.
No.
In what was considered maybe his worst statistical season. You don't think he gets better?
No, I think better is a quantifier. That's in the eye of the beholder.
You don't think he throws for more than he did this year?
No, I don't think that he wants to throw. They need to run the ball. I think that's going to be one of the primary efforts in the offseason is for him to not to have to throw for 4,000 yards.
Yeah, I would think that as well. Josh Allen, 3,750 yards.
Easy. I like the over there.
Well, remember, Josh Allen threw for like 37.30 this year.
I think they're going
to. He won the MVP, and he didn't even throw for 37.50.
Yeah, and I think they're going to go get him some help at wide receiver. I think there's going to be some more talent for him to throw to.
Joe Burrow, 41.50.
That seems about right.
He threw for 49.18 this year.
But they're not going to want to be in the position
they
they
don't
were
want
in.
him to throw that much next year, hopefully.
But so 4,100 sounds about right.
Lamar, 34.50. Lamar this year had 41.72.
I think I like the over there too.
I do.
I think he's better. The more yards he throws for, I think the better off they'll be, quite frankly.
And then Jalen Hurts, the last guy listed here, 3,200 is his number.
That would be what I'd aim at. I know that.
He had 2,900 this year. So you need 300 more out of him to get.
So
now,
we're
mind
telling
you,
me that Saquon takes a step back because that offense.
Well, remember Jalen only played 15 games this year.
Oh, there you go.
Which probably had something to do with that. There's only one guy listed for the rushing yards next season. Saquon Barkley, 1,500 rushing yards, yes or no?
Oh, yeah.
1,500?
Yeah. I mean, these great backs, unless there is a significant injury, he's going to get 1,500 yards. I mean, when Derrick Henry and
That's
we can
wild.
go back for a decade, those guys just get it.
2 guys this year got 1,500 yards, 2 in the whole league.
I think that number's going to grow up next year. I think there's a lot. This is a copycat league, and there's going to be a bunch of teams that realize, you know what, if we just invest a little bit and take a little bit off my quarterback's platter, a little bit here, a little bit there, I think we'll have 1 or 2 more.
Saquon had 2,005. Derrick Henry had 1921, and then Bijan Robinson had 1456. Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs also in the 1400s. Josh Jacobs in the 1300s. Kyron Williams had 1299. It's hard, man. It's hard to get to 1,500.
In this league, it has been, but I think we saw a bit of a pivot shift.
And also, will Saquon stay healthy for a full year?
Well, there's that. And then we got some rookie. What's Ashton Genty's coming in? There'll be a couple guys that are going to get the ball a lot. You figure they're going to be drafted by teams that are going to want to use them, like Bijan was. So there'll be an addition maybe.
All right, let's look at the NBA today.
6 o'clock tip.
We did not learn our lesson, apparently. The Spurs were 9.5-point favorites at Charlotte. What is the number on the San Antonio Spurs at the Wizards tonight?
Well, it should be 9.5. If this was any other team who had been just closing games out, I would have been fine with 9.5 because the Wizards are done. They traded away whatever little talent they had. He's gone. They want to lose. They literally want to lose basketball games, but that number's huge. They're not going to beat them by 10.5 points.
The Spurs are 11.5-point favorites.
Nuts. That is nuts. That is absolutely nuts.
11.5-point favorites. If you think the Wizards can find a way to beat them the way the Hornets did, the Wizards plus 455 on the money line.
I don't think I'd do that. But they're going to cover.
But think about it. At plus 455, do you think the Wizards win this game 1 time out of 4?
Yes.
I think so, too.
I do.
So I think there's value on the money line.
I'm taking Wizards as maybe on the money line, too. I don't get what Vegas thinks they're seeing.
I don't either. I'm not really sure. Here's another one. The Minnesota Timberwolves are plus 9.5. The Timberwolves are playing good ball all of a sudden. They figured it out. They're plus 9.5 in Cleveland. That's going to be a lot better game, I think, than people are expecting.
That's asking a lot of Cleveland.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Magic, 5.5-point favorites hosting the Hawks.
After what they did to us.
It's nice to see them. It's nice to see the Hawks just dogs every game now.
Yeah.
I want them to lose
Go ahead,
every
Paolo.
game.
Hit another game winner.
Celtics, 7-point road favorites in Miami. Battle of the Titans here. The Hornets are at the Nets. Nets -4.
What's the under on this?
212 is the total on this.
Watching Charlotte play the other day, Miles Bridges is not bad. We've forgotten.
He's pretty good.
Because he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's
he's a
how
pretty
good
player.
he really is.
The Thunder host the Pelicans. I actually expected this number to be one of those 1920s. It's OKC -16.
I like take them. Run with that.
That's not absurd.
And isn't Holmgren due back in the next 2 games?
It's supposed to be today, Monday. They said it was his going to be his debut. Which maybe you don't want to bet them when they're working in a new piece, but
no, New Orleans sucks.
They do.
Oh, and they've been gutted.
We now know that the Bucks will be without Giannis for the foreseeable future. Warriors 6.5-point favorites in Milwaukee tonight.
Well, they got a bunch of stars.
Yeah,
bunch of guys who've been there and done that.
This is a tough one for me. Kings +1 at Dallas.
Sacramento is balling. They're coming off another win. They got De'Aaron had gotten to the point where he played such a little role in what they were trying to do. They don't miss him. Levine balling. I like Sacramento in this one.
Portland is +9.5 at the Nuggies. Blazers have been playing good ball, man.
I agree.
I'm not laying double digits.
Well, my concern is at some point they're going to go, hey, we got to turn the heat down just a little bit.
And I'll give you another team who's playing probably a lot better than you think they are. The LA Lakers look like they've got something going here. They are 12.5-point favorites against the Jazz. Supposedly, we could see the debut of Luka tonight.
I doubt it.
12.5 hosting the Jazz.
Against the Jazz would be a good open, and they're going to have Connect back, right? That trade was rescinded.
Yep, that trade. So Dalton Connect goes back to the Lakers. It's always awkward when you basically you ship a guy out and they're like, yeah, but we really want you here.
And the thing is, I think
we just didn't want you here now.
I think they're glad he's back. I'm not sure that everybody's not overjoyed that this didn't go through.
I think there is a little bit. There's some people who were like, really, we gave up that guy? That's odd. So I think there was some sigh of relief type stuff.
Can't have enough shooters.
Not a lot going on in college hoops tonight. There's some ugly games, but North Carolina's at Clemson. Clemson coming off that huge win over Duke. Now they're hosting North Carolina, who, again, I've been saying it under my breath, and I think people are starting to take notice. North Carolina sucks.
Yeah, they're not good.
Like, they're probably not a tournament team, but this is Clemson coming off their Super Bowl.
I still like Carolina here. Did you see Clemson? I mean, they're big and they're slow, and they just beat the crap out of all those freshmen at Duke. I think they had a miracle game. North Carolina's terrible, but they ain't Clemson bad.
Clemson's the second-best team in this crummy ACC.
They play a weird style of basketball, man. I haven't paid enough attention to them.
Clemson's 11-2 in conference.
They're playing Big Ten basketball in the ACC.
Meanwhile, North Carolina, I mean, they've lost 4 of their last 6.
Oh, gosh.
Their only wins in that stretch, one was overtime at home against Boston College, who, I mean, is just the dregs. Well, they're not quite Miami bad. Well, but they might be. They're in that discussion. And then they lost, or they won by 1 at home against Pitt. And Pitt, like, the wheels are completely coming off.
It was a couple weeks back where we really looked at the program and they were getting ready for Duke. I don't know how they're going to manage to fire Hubert Davis, but they're going to have
I think they're going to have to.
That he's got that Carolina Columbia blue running through his veins. That's going to be a tough fire for them.
Yep, I think Clemson gets that job done tonight. I'll take Clemson to do it. Elsewhere, you've got a solid Mountain West game. Nevada and Fresno State. Nevada a minus 15-point favorite, and then a game that this is a big number. Houston is a 9.5-point favorite hosting Baylor. That's going to be a pretty good game, I think. Now, how Baylor scores, that's always the question. When you play Houston, how are you going to score? And Baylor, not a whole lot of depth.
This is the kind of game Houston lives for, man. They want to play a team just like them.
Yeah.
Look out, Baylor tonight. This is in Houston?
Yes,
Ooh.
and that's the problem. We've seen Baylor so far. They've got 2 conference road wins. That is at Arizona State, who stinks, and at Utah, who stinks.
Let me tell you, to beat Houston, I don't care where you are, you have got to be able to shoot. I mean, and you've got to be able to get it up in volume because they're not going to let you do anything else. Baylor doesn't have it on the road like this. I like Houston big.
Their other road losses include a 14-point loss at Texas Tech. They lost by 11 at Arizona. They lost by 19 at Iowa State. And they started the season losing by 38 at Gonzaga.
Well, they're better than they were. Now, this is a team that played Kansas the other night. They played a good game. They're a talent. They're a tournament team. Yeah, they're a tournament team. But Houston on the road is an entirely different story.
Yeah, Houston is just they are animals, and it's so hard to get even like into the 50s against that team. I think they're gonna have a hard time scoring against that team.
It'll be a good game to watch, though.
Yeah, the best game on the board tonight anyway. So if you're into that sort of thing, that's probably your best bet for tonight. There's no hockey now. Hockey's on hiatus.
Oh, we need a hot goalie to ride for a little bit.
Well, there's no hockey for like 2 weeks.
What?
Yeah, they got that. They do that the in-season thing.
International thing.
Yeah, so there's not even any hockey to watch. I watched the Golden Knights win the other day. A good one that they were down in. They made it 3-3, and then they scored a goal with 30 seconds left.
How long are they off?
I think 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So they just shut their whole sport down for a couple weeks, and that's that. That's how they do it. All right, guys, that's it for us. I've got good news. The Blitz is back in town,
They
baby.
are.
They are back in town, back in the saddle. Jason and Joe, they'll come up at 2 o'clock. They'll do their best to put on an entertaining program
They're
for
probably
you.
tired.
Yeah, but they probably are tired.
Partying.
Probably a little hungover. I don't know. Now, us, we show up ready to work every day.
Reinvigorated.
That's what we do. And we'll be back tomorrow, reinvigorated, doing our damnedest for you, the people. Thanks to Vic. Thanks to Edwin. Thanks to Rob. Thanks to you for listening. We'll see you tomorrow. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
On your ride to work, it's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hola, mi esposo se lastimó en un accidente ayer. ¿Me puede ayudar?
Claro que sí. Estamos aquí para servirle.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7. Our team of Texas attorneys has been helping people injured in car, truck, or 18-wheeler wrecks for more than 25 years. And there's no fee unless we win. Y hablamos español. If you've been hurt, call us at 444-4444.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
America's Diamond has never sold lab-grown diamonds, and we warned our clients, friends, and neighbors that wholesale prices would crash to almost nothing. 2-carat GVS2 lab-grown diamonds are currently being traded